All right, there we go. That's enough of the intro. I love the intro. I really do, as you guys all know. But I'm keen to get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm just sitting here looking at the character select. Two weird observations. One, they've got a progression section here, right? With Mastery, PvP rank, World versus World rank. Fair enough. Why is achievements like its own category? I mean, achievement points are a progression as well. Why is there like a separate section here? As though there's like achievement points and then there's also achievement, I don't know, rewards or something. Like I just moused over it. They have this whole tooltip here. I don't know. I guess this might also print when you mouse over it in-game in the hero panel. Achievement points are earned by completing achievements in any of the 3 core Guild Wars 2 modes. PvP, PvE. It's interesting there to think of separate AP tracks depending on mode. At various tiers of achievement points, you unlock account-based rewards, as well as bonus reward chests that give items, unique item skins, and boosts you can give to characters on your account. Yeah, except Arenanet, they're literally 10 years out of date now. I would love to see a little improvement to some of the AP stuff. Not only for the fact that we'll probably be at 50k soon. And why is that? Because today, for anyone watching up in the future, today is New Year's Eve. Wait, no, not New Year's Eve. It's Visions of Eternity's Eve. Yeah, the expansion launches tomorrow. Now, just so that you guys know, the past 3 X-Packs, I haven't streamed day 1. I'm not streaming day 1 on this one either. I do patch video on day 1. So I will be here doing things, but we won't do anything live. My first episode of the Let's Play, we're going to do a big Visions of Eternity Let's Play, just like we did for JW, just like we did for Secrets of the Obscure. I'm really excited to play it. It's going to start on Wednesday. So we will we'll begin there. So what are we doing today? Well, there's a little bit of news left. There's one item of news which is more like game engine. It's about visuals. There's a graphics update. It's to do with shadows, which I'm really excited to see. I've kind of skimmed it and read a bit of that blog post already. I've got to be honest, guys. But we'll look at that. It's not technically Visions of Eternity. They did 2 blog posts summing up the 2 betas, which I'm a bit nervous, to be honest, won't have great detail in them, but we'll be reading those. And then finally, there's a lot of like little videos and mini trailers up on their Twitter. One of which I think is quite good and actually does feature a lot of new stuff. So this is like a final pressy type roundup of the stuff. Again, we could have done these all as dedicated videos. I've had people in the Spud Discord asking me, like, I think it was Cairo said, hey, why aren't you doing content on every single little bit of news that comes out? You could be capitalizing on this. And I said, I don't have the motivation for that anymore, guys. You know, once upon a time where I felt like I had a majority audience share, where it really mattered, where I could really put it out first and I could really do a good job with it, and you weren't really going to get the insights everywhere else. I felt like there was a value and a meaning to that. But as it is now, with a very thriving scene, with lots of faces, you know, there's a million videos out there that are covering this kind of stuff. And so it just, like, and I enjoy doing it, and we're doing it here today, but I'm just not, like, super gung-ho like I was in my early 20s to grind out press videos for an audience of people that will just flood in and then flood out, you know, like, so that's why, I could have done independent videos on every little sweet teaser, but I just don't think it would be worth it. So I can't like bundling them up. So that's basically the situation. The other thing we've completely failed with, in the last part, I mentioned it's October, let's do Oblivion October. What a fail that's been. That was really stupid for me to say because half of the month was already gone. And like this week and last week, I've been sitting there thinking, Jesus, if I start playing it now, we're not gonna get anywhere, and then we're just gonna get sidetracked for Visions of Eternity again, and then it's gonna go away again for ages. Look, when I go back to it, I want to first of all beat the game, and then I also want to get to Shivering Isles and stuff. So yeah, it's shelved for now. You know, Guild Wars 2 is obviously the priority, but we will do it. So the question now is, do we jump straight into 14 or Oblivion after VOE? I don't know. Anyway, that's a little bit of what's going on. By the way, another weird observation that I just made about the character select as I was sitting here. Look at this, right? So I am on the random character select, and I thought to myself, do you know what would be nice for this last part, the last day of Janthea Wilds, the end? Where is it? Shit. I just had it a minute ago. Here you go. Character select background. I was on random. And it randomly had picked Lion's Arch. And so I clicked Janthea Wilds. Watch lists, right? When I change it. Ready? Here we go. You're not going to get this insight anywhere else. Here we go. Look, she zooms out. We pull the camera back. There's actually different camera positions and lighting depending on the X-Pack that you're looking at. And Lion's Arch, you can see she's a lot closer in Lion's Arch. So if you want a like closer up view of your characters, I don't know, do the LA one. But yeah, this is it really. We're going to the end of Janthiel Wilds, this lovely rainbow. I actually been playing a lot of Guild Wars, like a lot. Let's log in. I'll show you what's going on. So one thing I did is it's the weekly in the Wizards Vault at the moment to clear the meta event in Janthier Sintry. So, and I haven't done this meta event for ages. I've killed loads of Greer, loads of Decimir, loads of Ura, but always now in the raids or in convergences. I mean, hell, I finished my 100 convergences like 3 months ago as well, to be honest. But I'm doing a lot of raiding at the moment. So I still see this content. I still play a lot of it. I haven't done this meta for God knows how long. As far as I remember, the only real grab for this meta was like, isn't there a rare spear that can drop from it, maybe? Is that right, that there's a rare spear? So, so I hadn't been there for ages. It is the final weekly right now, obviously, because the expansion's about to come out. And for the final weekly, they said, do this meta again. And it's really weird. Like, it blows my mind. It was a year ago. Actually, it was over a year ago that we were doing this, because obviously Visions of Eternity is coming out a month later than Janthier Wilds. Or is it even more, maybe? Can you guys fucking believe that? Quite a lot has changed for me in real life this year as well. And, you know, usually there's that thing where if real life changes a lot, you know, time slows down. But if you're in a rut and real life doesn't change much, time goes really fast. So I would have thought the launch of Janthier Wild should feel so far away, but it doesn't, man. I went to do this meta. It fit like a glove. It is actually quite interesting. You know, there was a lot of criticism this expansion that the 3 Titans were being reused again and again and again, right? There were story bosses, there were meta bosses, there were convergence bosses, and they were raid bosses. That's 4 reuse. 4! Which is crazy, right? And I think it's totally legit criticism, especially in terms of like the models and stuff. But it was funny, having done 100 convergences, having done God knows how many raids or whatever, it's definitely less than 100, but having killed them a bunch in those other formats, coming back to the meta now, there are different mechanics in the meta, right? Like, there's different telegraphs going on. There is different, you know, there's the Warclaw phase. That doesn't exist on the others, which was just kind of interesting to see. Anyway, so, yeah, I posted in Discord, you know, that was the last thing I've done. It's Halloween, of course, as well, so check out my Wizards Vault, guys. This is my pride and joy. If you've been watching my content, you'll know, right? Like, this has been a long fucking season. A really long season. If you got snowed under trying to catch up with all of the previous season rewards since this came in, right? Here's Secrets of the Obscure, and then post Secrets of the Obscure, post again, and now here's Janthier Wilds, and post Janthier Wilds, post Janthier Wilds, and then the third post Janthier Wilds is right now. If you got snowed under, this was the season to catch up. There's been like 3 festivals, multiple bonus events and things, and the gap has just been pretty big feeling. So anyway, I've bought absolutely everything I care to buy. I'm not buying transmutation charges, because full-blown humble brag mode, we're pure legendary on all armor classes. Like, this mechanic doesn't exist for veteran players anymore, which I disagree with, but it's the case. So, what are my like, I have 56,000 transmutation. Oh, no, sorry, that's unbound magic. I was going to say, that's insane. That's way too many. Where is it? There you go. I have 2,800 transmutation charges, and I literally never use these. I mean, if you want to carry, like, ascended weapons around to swap in and out because it's less tedious than reassigning the sigil and reassigning what the sigil is assigned to and reassigning the stat type and reassigning the infusion, then maybe you would still use transmutation charges, but I'm not buying these, right? I don't need the mastery coffers because I have all the masteries. This is quite interesting though, right? It says contains a random elixir of mastery for one of the mastery regions, not including Secrets of the Obscure. Now my guess with this is that this text was written when the vault was first introduced and the reward was first introduced at Secrets of the Obscure. And then when Janthea Wilds came out, they were supposed to update it to also say not including Janthea Wilds, but they didn't. I assume what this really means is you can't use this in modern content. I seriously doubt you can progress Janthea Wilds mastery tracks with these coffers. Am I right about that, chat? Am I wrong? I doubt it. What Arenanet really need to do is formalize some notion of, like, current content, right? So, like, when you've got, like, the blue shards from the strikes or the green shards from the strikes, right? Like, there's this idea you've got current content and then you've got the old stuff. And that's where you would refer to that concept here. And, because it would be so tedious for the studio to have to update shit like this every single X-Pack, right? But, yeah, I'm sure that's broken. Anyway, if I'm wrong about all of that, and it really is just excluding Secrets of the Obscure, then I have two observations. One, why? Why is that a thing? But then two, maybe I could buy these, because I'd get Visions of Eternity progress immediately, wouldn't I? I could do it. I could get Visions of Eternity. We could skip. This reminds me of pre-Heart of Thorns, getting boosters and shit ready so that you could get the masteries quickly. I actually remember doing a video about that, like talking about fireworks and like boosters you could get with... you know, like the powder, the enchantment powder and stuff. I remember, so there's some comments that just stick out to me. Do I still have powder in my inventory somewhere? Yeah, this stuff. Some comments stick out. I remember one comment where someone said, oh my god, WP, you've made this video and it makes me not want to play Heart of Thorns. It makes me feel like I'm out of touch because I'm not currently playing the game. It makes me feel like there's all this shit I need to do to stay up and be competitive. And that's always stuck in my mind because, like I didn't feel that way, and I don't think that was true. It's obviously not true that you had to do any of that for Heart of Thorns, but it's funny that people do end up feeling like that, you know? People do get really antsy about not being at level cap as fast as possible, or having the mastery cap as fast as possible, and go. And it's something that, like, people shouldn't feel that way, and Guild Wars tries so hard to make you not feel that way, but they can't help themselves, you know? And it, like, pollutes... I'm not going to say MMOs, but just like multiplayer experiences. They'd never have that weird rush, that weird freaky anxiety if it was a single player game. Anyway. Cool, we're going all over the place. Black Lion salvage kits. Why would I buy this? I don't think I care about these. I'm pretty sure I have some in stock anyway. The tooltip isn't saying there's any in the bank. Obsidian shards, I have 1,160. I do actually spend 7 a week on a provision of tokens. Luck, I'm capped. Coins, I guess I could do, right? I could get 42 gold. Ooh. But no, I don't think it's worth it. And then crafting bags as well. Like, I don't actually know what's more valuable, a bag of gold or crafting bag. Basically, I got nothing to spend. So, here's my pride and joy, right? Okay, humble bragging is over now. Look at this. I am capped on Astral. I mentioned this on the previous part, right? I'm capped on Astral Acclaim. I'm over-capped. I actually put myself nearly 200 over the cap. We have nearly 1,500. So, when the expansion releases tomorrow, the second the new season comes out, boom, I can buy a bunch of shit straight away, right? Well, okay, maybe not tomorrow, because I'll do it on the stream, so it'll be on Wednesday. But the second I log in, we can get a bunch of stuff, which will be very cool. That was not the case with Secrets of the Obscure, obviously. But Janthea Wilds either. And then, here we go, look, on objectives, okay? I have all the special stuff done. I could do this and put that in the bank, but I think that might change tomorrow. Look, 22 hours remaining. Woo! But check, daily is obviously going to reset as well. But look, weekly, I can claim all this as well. I literally can't claim these right now because we're capped. But tomorrow, I can spend, and then I can claim all of these. I did my 10 events, I've done my fractals, my 5 fractals, I've done the Coddler's Cove jumping puzzle, and by that I mean I joined a squad on LFG and clicked teleport to a friend. Still not sure how I feel about that, by the way, because every week I do that. Every week I cheese it, every week I join a squad, every week I TP to a friend and get absolutely no value, no experience out of it. I never tip the squad owner. I never say thank you to the squad owner. I never socialize in any way. I just leave. And I'm happy to do that because it's quick and efficient and optimal. But there is a part of me that's like, come on, man, that's not playing the game. I don't know. Like, if Arenanet removed it, I wouldn't blame them. Because the thing is, right, like, it's fun. Do you guys remember the patch that added 2 gold to the dailies? That patch was epic. Like, that when a jumping puzzle came up, when everyone was gung-ho about that 2 gold, it was so cool. It was just players everywhere charging through the jumping puzzles like I'd never seen before. Even at launch, that didn't happen. Like, if you watch my launch playlist doing all the jumping puzzles, me and Mike are always alone in, like, every single video because the jumping puzzles were hidden, right? And because, you know, they were challenging when you were getting used to the jumping physics and all that shit with the game. But, like, that populated jumping puzzle thing was amazing. And I wanted to, and that the game could do it too, but we don't do it because we all just squad join and skip, right? I don't know. I mean, some proportion won't. Anyway, I did the Of Myths and Monsters meta event. That's what I was talking about a second ago in Janthis entry. Defeat a legendary rank enemy. I got that as a freebie. 100 Jade Mechs. I did Inquest. I've actually found the best place to do the Inquest, right? If you want to get your 100 Inquest, I promise, guys. I tried it today. It's this cave in Drytop. Because the cave is pretty big. Lots of Inquest there. And if you're lucky and the sandstorm's about to start, you get kicked out of the cave and put next to infinitely respawning Inquest, you know, with that Zephyrite kite event there. And you can get it so quick. My old places were like, you know, the labs around Brisbane, around here, but they're shit. Don't do those. Oh yeah, the Shatterer. I posted a screenshot of this. I cannot believe how active LFG is. I was talking to people in Spud about it earlier today. Maybe there's something at the moment that I can show you guys. The game feels ridiculously active at the moment. I mean, my friends list doesn't. It's still 99%. Everyone's offline. Everyone's gone. You know, in a lot of ways, the game does still feel like it's past it. But I have to say, LFG lately, I've actually made 2 separate tweets on Blue Sky. You follow me on Blue Sky about this. And there have been 2 other occasions where I've been like, holy fuck, look at LFG. And I've wanted to do more posts about it. But I've thought, okay, no, you've tweeted about LFG enough. It's not that interesting. So I've stopped myself. But seriously, I keep... Look at this. Okay, it's Halloween, right? I know most Halloweens. People are in the labyrinth. People are doing the doors. Look at how much... Look at all these fucking maps. Can I point out, it is not the weekend. It is not prime time right now. It's a little bit early for prime time. It's mental how many people are on LFG. So I looked at... The Shatterer was... Okay, there's only one thing here, sadly. The Shatterer was up earlier, and I shit you not, there were like 7 posts. And of those 7 posts, like 5 of them were like 50 out of 50 maps. Like, I might be exaggerating slightly there, but it was meant... You could see literally like 300 people on LFG doing the Shatterer. I have never, ever seen anything remotely like that. Not even when they did the Shatterer rework did I see LFG pop off like that. And someone in... And that's a brilliant sign. It's a sign maybe that Guild Wars is growing, that Guild Wars is becoming more popular, or at the very least, that people are socializing more in the game, and at least using the LFG feature. I mean, someone had a little theory in Spud that the Fractal beta taught people how to use LFG, and it is popping off more now. But I don't know, man. It's just whatever it is, it feels like people are using a lot. I still stand by what I said at the start of the year. They need to condense some of these. I'd love to see a pass on that. But, yeah, with the raid update that they'll be doing and the quick plays, should be pretty good. So, yeah, we have a blog post to read about quick plays, which, by the way, are a bit buggy at the moment. Oh, and also, if we want to play a little bit of content today, I'm on EU right now. Anyone in live chat, does anyone want to do a quick play Fractal with me, repping Spud? Because I noticed, so obviously I'm trying to get the last of these Fractal achievements from the event, and I've done a lot of them. But there's one of them called the Guild of Wolves. Really cool idea from Arenanet here. I hadn't noticed this. Look, complete Fractals in quick play mode while representing the same guild. So one of the problems that they have at the moment with the quick play, to me, right, the whole point of this is it's supposed to get people into communities. And what the culture that's developed with quick play right now is you get in and everyone instantly leaves. There's no communication. They just dip out straight away. I would much rather if it had flowed people into other immediate quick plays, so we weren't constantly reshuffling, but we just queue in again. Like, that should be the default behavior. Like, what I actually think was genius is Guild Wars 1's random arenas to team arenas pipeline. If you guys don't know what that was, basically you would matchmake in, you'd be assigned 3 other random players, so you'd have a 4-man team. If you win, you don't just disband, you stick together and you do the next round. And if you win again, you stick together and you do the next round. And they let you win 10 in a row. And if you've managed to win 10 in a row, you're pretty good. And I fucking guarantee that over those 10, you've spoken to each other a little bit and you've recognized each other's character names. There's been a bit of connection. And after 10 in a row, they don't dump you into random arenas anymore because you're just going to keep dominating free teams there. What they do is they throw you into team arenas, which is where people actually matchmaking as teams. And they put you straight in that outpost with all the same players. And now you make the decision, do you want to go on together or are you going to break up? That pipeline, that flow was brilliant. That created connections. That put people into each other's guilds. What Arenanet have accomplished with the quick play right now is very frictionless, but it doesn't... I don't think it facilitates like that community building. But there is this achievement. Anyway, to work all the way back around, they do at least have this, but this is just like buried. Only the Giga Nerds care about this, right? Hello, that's me. Only the Giga Nerds that are going for the AP. No one else is going to give a shit. I mean, maybe for a bit of dust. Let's be real, it's buried. By the way, as well, the weekly thing should be in weekly fractals. It should be weekly quick plays down here, not buried in this shit. Anyway, yeah, so if you guys want to do that, send me a message. I'm in-game, Baradin3164. I'm online right now. I'm on EU. Log in, throw me a message, and we'll do some quick plays as a part of the content of this stream here. Because I want that. That's like, look, that's some easy AP as far as I'm concerned. 3 quick plays for 3 AP, that's a piece of piss, man. Like, the amount of grind that you often get asked to do for AP once you get after a certain threshold is ridiculous. So, anyway, so yeah, I've just been playing a lot. The other thing that's been going on, of course, is raiding. I've actually been playing... Oh, here you go. Somebody does want to play. Oh, but I can't invite you. It's Kitabake. Let's see. Oh my god, wait, it's BKA? Is it not with another A? Have I always said your name wrong? You'd love to join? Would need an invite though? Why can't I invite people without using the command? Hello? That's very odd. If you're already in a party, I can't invite you. Oh god, yeah, when there's all these little party bugs, it's not too good either. What was I going to say? Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Willbender. I've actually got back into doing like the weekly strikes and the weekly raids. To be honest, I haven't been doing Adashim, or I haven't been doing the Key of Adashim or the Mystic Forge. They're very pug unfriendly wings, as far as I can make out. They're very there's just too many roles. Whenever you see them on LFG, it's just people asking for Pylon. It's always fucking, I want to play Pylon, but it's like, no, I want to do some raids where I can just sit and grind on like this build, because this is the build I'm playing in the CMs I'm going for, you know? But anyway, Willbender's quite fun. You know, once you learn the loop and it becomes muscle memory and instinctive and stuff, you know, there's a lot of fun little toys in there. Block spam, regular little evades for you, fun little bits of movement in there. Yeah, there's 2 ways of doing it. You can do it with a Scepter and Warrior Relic, which I quite like. There's another rotation someone's built that actually does like a bit more, quite a considerable amount more damage, which, oh, guess what, is Fractal Relic again. But it's like purely using your brain and priority based, and I wasn't really up for that. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's going on. And then if I've not been playing Guild Wars, it's just other stuff. The other game I've been playing at the moment is Pokemon Heart Gold, which I've played before. I'm playing it very casually, like only a couple of hours a night, something like that. I just beat Claire, so I'm a good bit through. I'll be at the Elite Four soon. I'm playing a ROM hack of it called Heart Gold Generations, and I'm really disappointed in it, to be honest. Look, I picked it because it's a new ROM hack, because Gen 4 ROM hacking is going very well at the moment. Lots of new innovations and breakthroughs have been made. So all the Poke nerds are shitting themselves, really excited about this thing, Pokemon Heart Gold Generations. And what it is it's like out of the 1,100 Pokemon, like 900 of them are in. So you can play with like Gen 9 Pokemon. They have the sprites in battle, they have the overworld sprites, you know, like the whole shebang. And people made it sound like a really good patch. But it's shit. Sorry. I'm in a weird place with it, right? Where... Okay, so that's like someone's passion project. They made it. They spent countless hours on it. They've shared it with the internet. They've made a ROM hack. People are excited and happy. I mean, what a prick I would have to be a Debbie Downer to go and warn people away from it, you know? But, like, there's another part of me that's like, look, people are so... Like, the community reaction to that patch is misaligned with reality. It's not the truth. But as far as I can make out, here's what's happened. If you're really into Pokemon, there's a certain novelty to playing with, like, a Gen 8 Pokemon in Heart Gold. There's a certain novelty, right? If you're really into the ROM hacking scene and you know the limitations, the fact that those walls have been broken through is thrilling enough for you. But I'll tell you now, it doesn't make it a good game. It's, like, really lazy. Like, he just has a route where he puts every single starter just all together. Half the, like, moves, they're not called abilities, right? They're called moves. The skills you use in combat, like, don't have animations. If it's new, there's a good chance there's no sound effects. It just spams the Hone Claws animation over and over. There's bugs where skills that should be... moves that should be healing are actually damaging Pokemon. Very few of the trainers have been updated. You know, it's just... It's not really that good. I kind of regret it, to be honest, picking it. So privately, between me and you guys in the Guild Wars community, where it would never get back to that author, I'll say I'm not too impressed. But you know, I love those games, and it's been cool. I've been using Pokemon that I don't really know about, and it is interesting just getting spammed with a billion different things. Johto always sucked with Pokemon variety, so... Alright, okay, let's try and invite this guy again. Should we do the blog post first, or should we do a quick play first? Just to get into the mood. I kind of want to do a quick play first. I think we've actually got to do... There you go, I can send an invite there. You can invite me. Hey, Noct, it's good to see you, dude. Might as well, in between the Pokemon rants. Yeah, it's good to see everyone. Oh, God, I've been terrible at chat. Sorry, let me scroll up in chat. I just wanted to... Oh, that's a lot of scrolling. Oh, God. Hello to everyone who was there really early on. I just want you guys to know, if you get here when it's, like, before it's live, I do see your messages. So, Bobbit the Hobbit, if you're there, Turtle Moji, Limbalicious, Nathan Gosson, John Sellers, it's good to see you, BRSPs. Guys, I've got no schedule. These streams are way too sporadic. In the times where we're not bulking out a series, I'm always so grateful and so happy and so proud and just amazed when you guys find these. So, honestly, thank you so much. Will Hart, Zenith. Yeah, so Zenith here. Well, this is interesting. He says, hey, it's been a while. I don't think I've been here since the days of the tunnel patch. I think that was 2023. Tunnel patch, I'm assuming you mean the Giala... Shit, yeah, Giala Delve patch 2, right? The Talus Passage. And the Emerald Psyche. How do we say this word? I'm thinking that's a German word. E-I-C-H-E, that's always German, right? Yeah, the quick plays were broken earlier, and I only realized because of a German guy that was in chat. He said, quick play is kaputt. which I think I can translate. Oh, you're not in Spud? Yeah, so you guys will need to get invites. This isn't me cynically trying to invite you guys. I'm pretty sure you're all in the guild anyway, but I'll throw invites. Just in case. So yeah, alright, let's do a quick play. Accept the invite, and you guys actually do have to rep the guild as well, by the way, if we're going to do this. Alright, I'm scrolling down. Scrolling down. Oh, hello, Arenanet in chat. You feel like 14's very good about that? Was that in reference to not having to prep with XP items and shit like that? I think 14 is very good for that. 14 succeeds. Do you know what I hate? I hate when 14 succeeds at things Guild Wars should succeed. Like, it really annoys me when 14 is better at, like, evergreen content, you know? Guild Wars doesn't increase the level cap because it wants everything to be evergreen. So why is it that the game that has a gear treadmill And the game that has increased level caps has the more evergreen content. Oh, man, like, come on. Oh. I say I hate it, but, you know, it is what it is, and it's one of the reasons that game's so strong. Oh, God, yeah, maybe scrolling all the way back up here isn't a good idea. MMO player count says, Jerub, have always been super interesting to me compared to Steam charts. 100k is a big deal on Steam, but feels like an average number for Guild Wars 2. 100k? I can guarantee you Guild Wars 2 does not average 100k. Oh, sorry, you mean viewership number. I thought you meant in-game. Well, I'll tell you, you won't get 100k average Guild Wars 2 viewers on Twitch or a streaming platform. Because it doesn't even have that many players in-game. There's no way, not even close. There are a couple of MMOs that can really break the mold and really do big things. We've seen it with OSRS recently. We see it with the old dogs. WoW, you know. World of Warcraft, which, by the way, I just want to ask. I want your feedback in chat here, guys. World of Warcraft, I've heard some crazy shit lately. I've heard they're nuking all add-ons. Wait, did we talk about this on stream already? No, I don't think we did. Because I heard it from some people I was raiding with, like, recently. That shit's bonkers. And possibly is paving the way for console release, but people don't really know that for sure. Oh, +1 if you've got a spot. We do. We have one more spot. And guys, you don't need to play any kind of build. Like, these are T1. They're all very easy. There you go. You can get a guild invite and you can get a party invite. I will initiate the quick play in 120 seconds, okay? To account for stream day. Oh my god, this guy's going big with the boosters. Holy shit. Look, he's ready. He is ready for VOE. He's watched my my video. Thoughts. Look at this. He's got the fishing power going. Bro. The lowland expertise. Does that help him outside of Jumping Wilds? I don't think it does it? Oh, I tell you what, he's done it from the Halloween Gobbler. I'm sure that, you know, I never use that. Someone was saying in guild chat the other day that's the best purchase they've ever made, and I'm like, I guess I should do it more. I don't know. The thing is, candy corn is expensive. For me, guys, can I just say as well before we go in, Halloween's the other thing that's been going on and has taken like a lot of my time in Guild Wars 2. Get in the Halloween. Halloween I usually suck at. I've actually finished the rituals. I've been doing the dailies well enough. Did everything I needed to for the labyrinth. There was an achievement I needed, which was carving pumpkins. Oh my god, it's so grindy. I honestly spent just hours running around Corteria carving all these pumpkins to finally get that finished. The other one that was really brutal was closing doors in the labyrinth. I don't really like mindless grind that much. I really don't. Well, okay, it depends on the situation. But labyrinth grinding is never... Let's just say this. Labyrinth grinding has never been something I've enjoyed very much. Obviously, the community loves it. I mean, LFG speaks for itself, right? But so I needed to do so many doors. Got them all done. The amount of candy cane and the amount of candy cane cobs you need to keep up with the rewards now is mental. Like, I don't actually have some of these recipes. That shit's cheap. But, like, they added the shadow plate this year. I think I'd missed the greaves last year. You got all of... This is 20 cobs a piece! I've got all of these now, by the way. This is a new thing, by the way. The plush back pieces. So every festival, I think they're going to do one of these. In fact, I think the new festival collection is actually out now as well. I guess Arenanet figured everyone's had enough time to finish the old one off. Yeah, Friend of Dragons now we're working on over this year. But, oh my god, there's so much candy cane here. The traders' chests are 10 a pop. I could get ectos from the gibbering skulls and stuff. It's mental. I honestly, you know, I always like to think about someone new. Could they catch up, right? If you newly started Guild Wars and you properly no-lifed it, right? You made it your career to play Guild Wars. Could you get to the 50k AP? Could you get to like a high skin count like these modern, like the old guard players have? I really don't think you could. These festivals have gone bonkers. Okay, so here's another thing that I did. For the first time in about 4 years... No, that's a lie. That's a lie. 2 years, maybe 3. I'm pretty confident I haven't done it since Secrets of the Obscure. So 3 years? I opened a shit ton of Black Lion chests. I haven't opened chests for 2 to 3 years. Let's say that. Looking for wardrobe unlockers. Whoopsie, I clicked open in the wiki, not preview, because we have that add-on on. So for a little while, my account had so many unlocks that if I used the guaranteed unlock, I would always get like hundreds of gold worth of value. You know, we'd get mounts, we'd get rare mounts, we'd get the big shit, right? Like every time. And I guess here's what I think. I got a little conspiracy theory. I think Arenanet, that's going to cut into Arenanet's bottom line real bad. And I think they're snowing people under with these festival rewards. Because look at the state of it now, right? A guaranteed weapon unlock. I don't know how to articulate this to you guys. I have a lot of fucking skins. I have a lot of skins. Look at how many I've still got to go. Look at all of these sets. And look at what they are. Sandstorm. They're all like Sacred Crystal is festivals. Sacred Solstice is festivals. Shadow Chevalier was festivals. Grim Machines festivals. Dragon Renders festivals. Corrupted Hero, I think. Like, I haven't verified all of these. The Chained ones. It's like hundreds of gold in festival mats over and over and over and over and over and over and over. They just keep bombing these new sets in, man. So I don't know how anyone could catch up, really. It would be so many cobs. And if you look at the price of, like, if you type traders into the TP, right? Traders. Look, the trader's fortunate chest is only worth 8 gold. So I could unlock these, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 skins, which is pretty good, actually. Holy shit. But look at this, 20... Wait, these prices have tanked. No, there you go. 130 gold for every Sacred Solstice one. The Halloween ones were like around 100, I'm sure they were. Look, they're at least 50 still. Candy Corps, the new one. Grim Machine from last year. So pricey. So anyway, but it's good. By the way, I'm not bitching. None of this I'm bitching. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of content. And it's good that candy corn actually has value, right? Like, because I gather that all year round from my home instance, for example. And it's cool to know, like, holy shit, like, that actually has some merit because it will trade into so many things. Okay, guys, your 120 seconds is up. That was a WP 120 seconds, which in reality means it's 10 minutes while I rant. So let's go. Quick play. Let's see if it crashes. And like I say, this is kaput. It's been crashing. WP, did you get the 3 book back pieces? They had a fun little collection with them. Do you mean the Mad King ones? Like, there's a purple one. There's a green one. I swear there's actually quite a few. If you do, then yes. I did it years ago, though. I don't really remember the story. That was a very, very long time ago. Yeah, so Noct in chat says, festivals added more skins over the last few years than expansions did. And that's with annual expansions. Yeah, like all I'm trying to articulate here, guys, is it blows my mind how many skins they've got coming in on those festivals. And this is why, with fashion templates, being able to lock it to a specific area would be so nice. Because then I would say, you know, like, when I'm in ore, maybe I'll use Grim Machine. When I'm in... By the way, you're not going to see anything interesting going on in terms of gameplay from me here. It's QOL Kata. This is the only sensible thing to play in quick play Fractals. You can solo everything. You can give quickness to other people. Oh, by the way, guys, Blishard. Blish is pretty mental, some of the stuff that's going on. Does anyone know if you can put Blish markers into Nexus? Because I'm sure I saw that was the case, that you could. But, damn, it's not capturing it. Capture Blish. There you go. It is now, right? I think it just took a second to load. Look, so like Blish here is telling me the skip, right? It's telling me exactly how to port, to skip, to hit the button, to skip the thing. I didn't realize on Blish, by the way, that there's actually, when you're using pathing, there's a shit ton of options. Oh, can I navigate to them? Yeah, open settings. I didn't realize there was this huge settings menu for the pathing add-on. You guys might not have, but you can actually enable or disable Lua scripts. And this is what means that will allow you to, like, move markers dynamically based on what the players do or where the fight's going. So, like, you can pick up icons as you move around, or it will put a frog icon or for where to stand at one moment, and then at a different phase, it will change it to a rabbit icon or whatever. Like, it's really funny to me to think about the whole World of Warcraft thing right now with WoW moving away from add-ons, and Guild Wars is getting more and more and more sophisticated. More sophisticated than I actually realized. How is my Blish working without API? As far as I understand, Blish always worked without API. It just doesn't track shit very well. But my API is still broken. Did I tell you guys that story? My API is broken. It broke years ago. I assume it's because something is weird about the account. Because God, I really don't like how much it sounds like I'm humble bragging, but it's kind of a bloated account, right? It's got a lot of weird flags and shit going on it. So something broke. I messaged support about it, and support has always been fantastic. Guild Wars 2 support has always been excellent. They've always been really good to me. Quick responses. You know, I haven't got anything bad to say about them, really. But on this occasion, I said, yeah, the API key's broken. Please, can you look into this? And they said, yeah, just go to the forums. That was it. That's all they had for me. They said, go to the forums. And there's a forum thread with like 3 other nerds saying, oh, my API key's broken. And they just get no response. And that's it. It's over. So as far as I can make out, my API key is just dead and gone now. It's just not going to work. I just lightning flashed on him there because usually that's Technobubble, which is my favorite skill for low-tier fractals. So yeah, I wish it wasn't broken, because then Blish would be even more functional for me and would do a lot of cool stuff. But it's not, so I lose some value. But yeah, if you can get the markers onto Nexus so that they don't go in front of the UI, like it can be pretty annoying. There's not really many markers on screen right now to show off, but it can be pretty annoying when it's clipping in front of the UI. Banjo says, WP, the API is down right now anyway, as they do every expansion, regardless of the Blish stuff. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, actually, when I was doing raids earlier, someone asked for KP. I said, I don't use KP me. I don't think it's good for the scene. I said, I've cleared these CMs lots of times, though. He said, oh, okay, I trust you. He said, I can't check anyway because the API is down. But yeah, look at this. Look, look, look. They actually plastered the markers onto the walls. This is your cue to alt-tab and look again, guys. Look at this. Look at this shit they're doing. And it's a little bit wobbly. It's not fully aligned because the frame rate of the pack is slightly different and stuff. So we're just going to click exit and return to Lion's Arch. There you go. Someone just left. I'm wondering if that was instinctual. Oh, they were on NA. Sorry. Right, that makes sense. All right, well, let's just get on the next one. Again, if anyone wants to join, just 2 more to go. I did actually have a horrible experience this week. I was doing the Lost Troubleshooter badges in the Fractals, which usually are like quite cool. Like I said on the last video, you know, there's just like a hidden area in a Fractal. You go to it and you pick up the badge. I had to do this Deep Stone, but I was doing them alone because it was really early in the morning. I had to solo deep. They put the travel but shooters badge at the very end of Deep Stone, so I had to solo it the whole and this is like the longest Fractal. Oh my god, dude! And when you're alone, spamming the Light of Deljamor, making the bridges build over that chasm, it takes forever. And I didn't have the confidence on the far side to do the skip, so I ended up doing the whole extra run. But yeah, like these billboards, they even have things where like when you walk up to the board, it pops a whole new UI. Like run one of these new marker packs. This is the Heroes pack, by the way. I don't know who made it, so I'm really sorry. I can't give you a specific shout out. Oh, there you go. Guitar Hero 1645. Everyone add that guy. Give him a thanks. Additional assistance from Wolfie and Noro. Those guys, like, it's a crazy pack. If go turn this on, the Heroes marker pack. Go check out. Well, I'll just go the other way. They will have done that already. Check out like Sabbather. They have like a preview of the fight and stuff that you can watch in the waiting area. Mental. There's a certain point where you're doing more work than the devs have put in. That's a bit snobby and condescending, isn't it? That's a bit of a sneery thing to say. You feel like quick players are Deepstone buyers? I don't, but I know what you mean. I know how you feel. Yeah, this was hard to solo as well because I had to. I was surprised it worked. I had to stand on one of the pads and quickly lightning flash to the other one. That's why lightning flash was on my. No, it's not because that was days ago. But yeah, I had to quickly flash across to open the doors, and you actually can solo it. But yeah, about the bias. It's just no one wants Deepstone, right? Deepstone's too long. It's the one you don't want. So you remember it more. I can't remember what, like, fallacy that is. Oh, he doesn't actually have a break bar. Oh, also, I realized you can fight this spider. You can take 0 damage from this spider just kiting through his feet. Like, he misses every auto attack. He can't actually hit you. But look, they're giving us the little chest spots. Oh, I don't actually have LOD. What? Anymore? Did we ever have it here? Right, sorry, I'm being bad at chat. Sorry. Ditherus RPG with a little donation there. Thank you so much. I didn't miss... Oh, God, I'm going to say something here, and it's not that I'm expecting it from him. Oh, there you go. John Sellers, he with a $10 donation. Oh my God, that was a donation, and I didn't even really register it. I'm so sorry, dude. Thank you very much for that. You didn't give any memberships that I missed today, did you? I hope not. Oh, he did. He did earlier. John, you're so generous, man. Thank you very much, John. Hey, and congratulations to the people who got lucky there with some little memberships. If you do get a free membership off of John, please do consider. First, say thanks to him, but re-up it when it ends. Because then he's not carrying it all on his back. Do consider that. Yeah, sorry, Ditherus RPG with the $5 as well. Thank you. Unrelated, but broke my brain the other day, realizing you voice Falco in Helgen Reborn. Any more plans for more voice acting gigs? I'd love to do more. I just don't have the initiative or energy to seek out the opportunities. It was a lot of fun doing that. It actually really weirded me out doing that because I have a very high-pitched, like I don't have a manly voice, all right? I'm not going to say I have a feminine voice, but I'm not macho. And then you see that character in-game. That character's like a fucking buff Nord dude with his, like, shirt off, his, like, manly, like, pecs out, his rippling abs. He's greased up like Groundskeeper Willie or something. And then there's my little voice coming out. Oh-ho! We must rebuild Helgen! I can't even remember what the lines were, by the way. I cannot remember what that character's story was or anything. Literally not a fucking clue. So yeah, that was weird, but fun. It was fun, and that took like 5 minutes. I've told this story before, but for the Morroblivion project years ago, they were looking right around when I did Helgen. They were looking for voice actors. And I had a good microphone. Back then, right, like, I don't know, before everyone wanted to be a streamer, before, you know, everyone was buying big, expensive mics and Rode arms and blah, 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 blah. It was a bit of a novelty, you know, around 2000, a bit more of a novelty, okay, to have an actually decent mic. So I was like, yeah, people might like me to do some voices. So Morroblivion were asking for voices, and because I have a British accent, they asked me to do the Altma. And I sat down with my mum, who's obviously a lot older than me and also has a British accent and can do a good posh voice. My mum, if she wants to, can sound like a posh old lady. And I sat there over like a long weekend with her. She knows nothing about video games, really. I mean, she plays Zelda. But she doesn't know anything about Elder Scrolls, right? And I sat there and I got her to voice every single female Altma in the entire game. And I voiced every single male Altma in all of Morrowind. And that's Morrowind, where there's a lot of text. We did it all for that race. And I was told they loved it, and I was told that they were going to use it. And then the project hit like development hell. And then years and years and years later, I heard like some new management came in for the project or whatever, and they just nuked all the old voice acting files. Oh, except I have skipped one other thing over. I was told it was all good and fine, but at some point in the interim... No. I think I was told all the voices were cut, and I reached out and said, what was wrong with the voices? Like, I wasn't that invested. But I wanted to know, because I'd put a lot of work in. It was just years later. Look at Technobabble there. Seriously. Look at that. Instant activation. Doesn't slow me down. 1200 range. Fucking huge brake bar chunk. No possibility of being obstructed or anything. So good. And I was told that, like, we'd done a bunch of the places wrong. Like Almalexia. I think I'd said wrong, right? Like we didn't have any supervision, so we didn't know how to pronounce things. So, like, we would say, like, Cedanine. Or... God, I can't even remember that. There were certain words that came up a lot, though. And if we were pronouncing them incorrectly, then, yeah, I can see why they'd want to cut them. I can especially see why they'd want to cut my voice. Because, you know, a fucking white nerd voice is not a novelty. It maybe used to be slightly more of a novelty as a British voice. But it's certainly not anymore. Well, there's no value there. But a proper good old lady posh voice is a novelty, and there was a value. I was a real surprised they cut all the female ones. But anyway, yeah, that was my little foray into voice acting. It was fun. I'd do it again. I just haven't sought anything like that out. I mean, okay, does doing Ghosts of Ascalon audiobooks count? Just voicing every single NPC in all of A Realm Reborn and all of Shadowbringers and all of Stormblood and all of what's the one I've missed? Heavensward? Does that count? And any LP I ever do, actually, come to think about it? Hell, I even voice people who are already voiced. Thrown out of my home. What did I do to deserve this? Look at that. I mean, that's good stuff. All right, there you go. That's 2 quick plays. What's the guess at betting we'll get another deep stone here? Oh shit! Yeah. Just exit to Lion's Arch. This is great. We're getting the Guild of Wolves done. Hey Skylight, thanks very much for the £10. Hey WP, great to see you and Boots rocking some bad builds recently. Any plans for future collabs with both you guys for the new X back? Did I tweet this? Did I talk about this? Boots messaged me last month about teaching me Magic the Gathering, and I think that would be amazing. I really, really think that would be cool. It's not Guild Wars, sorry, but I think that would be fucking awesome. And I'm a terrible friend to Boots. I still haven't watched that Boots Bad Build episode. But yeah, just so you guys know, I was in a couple of videos. Did he do 2 in the end? We recorded 2 videos. How does this work, by the way? Because there's no such thing as a party leader. So who gets to pick the quick play joining? Oh, this guy says, can I join? Yes, you can. Invite Sod. Does it count as a quick play if we have 5 already? I don't know whether it does, but I guess it should, right? We'll see if this guy joins. Yeah, me and Boots recorded 2 episodes. There was a lot of, like, goofiness and fucking around, and I always feel bad for him because the editing must be awful. I mean, I say to him very bluntly, he should just leave it all in. All the nonsense and, like, it's an intro, but it's not an intro, it's an outro, but it's not. I like that stuff. I like candid, I like relaxed, I like messy productions. No, I like there's real thought to them, but they're like tongue-in-cheek messy. So we made 2 videos, but... So I haven't seen what he produced in the end. But he came up with like a very meta Steam Shrieker build. And I basically said to him, look, this is like, if you're going to run the top damage Q DPS build right now, it's this build. You've just tweaked it slightly. And I think at the time he said it wasn't worthy of a dedicated video, so I don't know whether he did 2 videos in the end, but we certainly had enough recording for 2. I want to watch them because I haven't seen the montage. It's kind of I always feel... Okay, this guy's not here, so we're just going to go. Whoops. Okay, remove from LFG. Rejoin. Well done to Arenanet, by the way, because it's not bugging at the moment, is it? Yeah, I love Boots, and I'll record stuff with him. I always feel weird about bad builds because I have to take like this ogre-ish role in it, you know, like I'm the I'm supposed to be the one that pisses on the bonfire, but I'm supposed to do it from a knowledgeable place as well, and often I'm not from a knowledgeable place. So I always just feel a bit weird, you know. There's nothing worse than someone online talking, shitting on something confidently when they don't know what they're talking about. And I run that risk every Boots Bad build video. But, you know, they're fun, and hopefully it was good. So check out his... oh, he left the Wicked Witch stuff in, did he? All right, well, at least there's that. That's good. I actually dug up an old pic... Talking to my mum, I dug up... I was going through old family photos recently, and I found one of me as a kid. And, like, our whole family was done up in Halloween costumes. And I very vaguely remember the outfit. And I like said to her, hey, what do you remember about this? What's going on here? And she's like, oh, this is you in your really cute wizard outfit. Look at you as a wizard. And I look at it, and I'm not a wizard. She's painted my face. I'm like a little kid, right? She's painted my face green, and there's like a black cat on my face. She made me a witch. I was a witch. And I was like, why did you make me a witch instead of a wizard? She was like, oh, it was supposed to be a wizard. I was like, wizards don't have green faces. Witches do. The Wizard of Oz doesn't have a green face, does he? Like, who's the OG wizard? Who is the OG wizard? And don't say Merlin. I'm sure that came later. What's this? Have you seen on their website? They say they have 21 million players. Anyway, I liked that outfit. I also have a cringy story. Well, not really cringy. I mean, kids will be kids. But I remember getting dressed up as a dinosaur once for like a school costume party or something. And my dinosaur it was a homemade thing. We didn't have much money. It was a homemade thing. And like they really lovingly, I think my nan might have made it actually, made a dinosaur tail for me out of a piece of string and lots of little toilet paper rolls. And when I got to the competition, the little kid costume competition, I lost to another kid who was also a dinosaur. We were like both T-Rexes, except he'd got like an expensive store-bought one that his mum had bought or something. And he therefore had like a proper tail, like a long green tail. And I, as a little kid, got really upset about that. I'm really annoyed about that. Oh, I don't have a real tail. And I feel bad about that in a way. I don't really. I'm not guilty because you're just a kid. You're not accountable. But it's a sad story, isn't it? You know, like someone lovingly makes a costume for their kid, spends a lot of time, and some prick just goes to the shop, spends more cash, and then fucking wins the competition. I mean, as an adult, I look back on that, and I think, who the fuck had that kid win? Why would you have that kid be the winning kid? How materialist is that? Anyway. Lost by tail diff. Yeah, I don't even remember anything else about the outfit. I just remember the thing about the tail. I must have been like 5 or something. I don't know. A lizard wizard? That could account for the green face. Ah, well, we were playing a lizard wizard, weren't we? Studies under stars will return. You know at the end of Marvel movies where the credits come up, the black screen comes up, and it says, Shang-Chi will return. And it says the Eternals will return, yeah? It's the same here. It's the same. Studies under stars will return. And by that I mean neither the Eternals nor Shang-Chi have returned. Oh, God. But really, though. But for real, though. Yeah, what's this about? I don't think Gandalf's the original wizard. Tolkien did not invent the concept of a wizard. I know that he refactored our concept of elves, particularly. But wizards? No, really, though. I'm interested in this 21 million player comment. What, for Guild Wars? I don't believe that for a second. I believe maybe 20 million accounts, including a mountain of bot, dare I say bot accounts? I don't know about bot accounts, but free-to-play accounts, certainly. Inactive accounts. And by the way, I'm leveling that as a specific criticism of Arenanet, that they've done something terrible. The industry does that, you know, like at a certain point you've got to just play ball. If your competition's inflating their press with shit like that, then they're going to too, aren't they? Here you go. Merlin is a figure from ancient Celtic mythology and is first documented in the 12th century. There you go. You think Shang-Chi will be in Doomsday? I think so too, yeah. But look, for now, that's not out. Nor is Visions of Eternity. So, with the quick play set up there, thank you to everybody who joined that. That was a lot of fun. Look, we got Guild of Wolves. We got some dust. You guys always pull through for me. That's amazing. Thank you, everyone. And look, if you want to do these other ones with me, I don't know, stabilizing the classics. Oh, that's what we should have done. Whatever. We can do that later. Because we could have overlapped it all and it all would have worked out. Yeah, let's jump in. So, I don't really know what insights I've got here. You know, I feel we should cover all the news. We've covered it all. We've done it in these awkward batches. We've not been very consistent and all that. But at the end of the day, it's stuff to talk about. In no particular order, I guess the best thing to do, actually, is to go to the quick play beta. Oh, what? Hold on. I've got to add... Oh, by the way, I have a mountain of screenshots here. I'm not joking. There's 61 slides. 61! Now, don't worry. It's not 61 walls of text. Okay? But there is a lot here. So, hold on. This is their response to the Elite Spec beta, which we'll talk about in a second. I'm a little cynical. It'll be interesting. It might be, though. We already did something very similar on the last part. Where it was mostly waffle, and then at the end we realised it's because the interview had been conducted ages ago. Here you go. So, we just did some quick plays. Let's have a quick look at this. This came out on the 17th, guys. 10 days ago. Resolving an amalgam of issues during the Elite Specialization beta. Oh, wait, no, this isn't about the quick play. They're all about the Elite Specs. Wait, so they did 2 blogs about the Elite Specs? Because they got that wordplay there about amalgam. It's okay, alright, fuck it then. We'll just go back. We'll go back. We'll just read it from the top. Okay, back to the new Elite Specs. Guys, we'll be able to play them tomorrow. Okay, and one thing I want everyone to think about here as we do this. What should I do on the Let's Play? I still haven't picked a spec. It's not going to be... I'm going to put a vote up. I'm going to put a vote up. Right now, have a look over towards the chat area. Because I'm going to put a poll. You guys can help me decide here. What do I play? So, I'm not going to pick Ritualist because... Oh, fuck. Okay, we'll get... Wait. We'll read the blog first and see if there's anything exciting. And then we'll start the vote after that, okay? So this is our final Woody's Roundup. See? I have a Toy Story quote on my Steam page. Which is always what I think of there. We're going to do one final roundup. And then based on this, we're going to pick what the next Let's Play is on. Luminary, you suspect is going to be good? I don't. They've given me no reason to believe it will be good right now because the original implementation wasn't good, and whatever they've tried to do to improve it is, as far as I can make out, scrambling at the last hour. Now, that's not to say it won't be over-tuned and therefore feel good in that way, but I'm looking for a bit more from an Elite Spec, so I don't know. But we'll see. Maybe this blog post has got something for me. Let's not be a Debbie Downer. Let's see. Visions of Eternity update, Elite Specialization beta feedback. So, on the last part, there was a guild... What was the website? PC Gamer? I almost said Guild Mag there. Jesus Christ. Walked through a time machine. Oh my god, and I would have just spilt my can of Coke there, but I haven't opened it yet. Let's do that now. And they can't... So the article wasn't really that good because I think it was very early. Well, this is late as hell. So this only just came out, this blog post. Let's see. Greetings, adventurers. Back in August, we ran a beta event to conduct feedback about the new 9 Elite Specs. Today, we're going to go over the feedback we received and what changes we're making to each Elite Spec for launch. The blog will outline what we feel are the most impactful changes at a broad level. For the full list of changes will be detailed in the expansion release notes. To kick things off, We received feedback during the beta that some of the Elite Specialization emblems... Hey! Alright, okay. Didn't represent the mechanics and themes they represented. Luminary, yes, I see it. I've scanned ahead. To better align the art and design, we'll be updating the icons for the Antiquary, which had the cards, which didn't feel particularly good, right? It was cards, yeah? They're making it a script. And the Luminary. The Luminary one was awful, especially because it was just effective when glanced at from a distance, which is how it's treated in the GUI a lot of the time. It's just a, it's just like a white blob, really. Okay, did we get a preview? Oh, wow. During their first major update. That's crazy to me. You can't swap a sprite? Did we get a preview? No? Maybe on the next concept art? Anyway, okay, so Amalgam is the first we'll look at. Feedback regarding the Amalgam landed in a solid state, along with some balance tuning. Amalgam is receiving a new GM, replacing Contagious Mutation. That was the one that shared strain bonuses to allies. Yeah, the big question here is, are you going to get Quickness and Alacrity together? I'm thinking no. Contagious Mutation was a niche trait, which is separate to Contagious Mutation, which was kind of the Grace of the Land issues. Was a niche trait compared to its neighbours. And it... Wait, do Americans not spell neighbour with a U? Oh, of course they don't. They de-Frenched everything, didn't they? I mean, how ungrateful is that? Americans were given the Statue of Liberty, right? And their rebellion was funded and supported by the French, okay, to undermine the hated British. And then they just got rid of all their fancy French spelling. I mean, I talk about ungrateful. And its existence limited the effects we could put on strains, as we had to consider them being given to allies. Contagious Mutations removal allows us to keep strains strong and interesting, while also making room for a new Grandmaster that can open up a new role. So what is it? New Genes. Provides boons to allies when a morph skill is used, as well as an additional boon based on which morph was used. Oh, well, look, we're not going to be able to chew on that just from this. We need tooltips. We need to see it. In PvE, the generic boon will be Alacrity, allowing the Amalgam to mold into a more supportive playstyle. With these gameplay changes, as well as some visual effect updates, it's never a better time to slime. Oh, but tell me that the visual effect update is the puddle thing. That's the only bad one in my estimation. A lot of it was pretty good. Amalgam, I've got to say, is on the table. I like the idea of playing Amalgam in the X-Pack. I don't think it'd be the most fascinating thing, but when was the last time I did a Let's Play on Issa? You don't see me on NG much. It's because of the whole I hate kits thing. But, you know. And there's actually been quite a few changes to kits and stuff that might be novel. So just to be clear here, they didn't actually talk about the quickness plus a lack thing, or did they? It's just an alacrity class, is how I'm going to interpret that. Okay, so yeah, look, the Antiquary with its old icon there. I wonder if they'll repurpose these old icons in any way. You know how in End of Dragons we have the Kaineng Overlook, and it was like the sub-bosses there kind of were nods to community elite spec ideas of names at the very least. I wonder whether, you know, the card shark will be in this X-Pack or something. God, I'm starting to get this thing, guys, where I'm actually excited to see where they're going with the story. Ritlock's back. It's an interesting setting. I think, by the way, that shaman had a tweet where he said, by the way, the new map area looks fucking massive. Like, you can fit all these other maps into it. Like, he overlaid Lion's Arch and stuff onto it. It looks like a considerable, like, new world to go to. Really cool. Okay, Antiquary. We've taken steps to reduce the amount of guesswork required while playing as the Antiquary. For starters, we've made Spit Deck baseline, which we'd heard before. All artifacts now additionally give unique temporary passive effects to the Antiquary after activation. Interesting. Allowing for further strategic choices after the corresponding artifact's been used. As an example, using the Metal Legion guitar grants an effect that allows the Antiquary to use sneak attacks for a short period of time, even when not in stealth. Oh, wow. Well, what else have you got for me, though? That one's really transformative and different. What are the other ones just going to be a bit of a power, and that's it? Is it going to be like a conduit type situation? Traits have also been reworked. Spit Decks replaced with Repeat Ransacker, which reduces the recharge of Script Swipe whenever you use an artifact. Possessive Hoarders had its boons altered and now grants its effects to allies around you as well. And Double Edge. Unfortunately, guys, I don't remember what every single one of these was. Double Edge skill icons now have a different appearance, whether they can be used while on cooldown. That's really good. Very good with the Double Edge thing. That's just all your utilities, right? They get an entirely different icon when you would be, you know, doing the casting them when they're on cooldown. That's very, very, very good. I'm excited to see this here. I'm not too keen on the Antiquary, I've got to be honest, guys. Now, Conduit. I think there were the makings of a really good spec here if they had the time to put a bit more art on it and just maybe went a bit back to the drawing board. Let's see. The majority of feedback on the Conduit revolved around the Conduit's profession mechanics, bonuses being too passive. As a result, we've made several changes to the Elite spec to make it more rewarding to players who wish to play the Conduit more proactively. Cosmic Wisdom has been moved to the F3, and their effects have been altered to provide bonuses specifically for the legend that each form represents. As an example, Form of the Assassin now fires lesser enchanted daggers at enemies close to you whenever you use an assassin skill. Does that count as toggling impossible odds? No, just channeling. Invoking a different legend will automatically switch your form to match the new legend, ensuring you'll always be able to make use of the new functionality of Cosmic Wisdom, even when moving to a different legend. Ah, now that sounds quite interesting. And that sounds like there's a cool visual to that. I like the idea there of the enchanted daggers. That, in fact, I think that's exactly one of the things we talked about, didn't we? Like the floating jade jet daggers you got around you after healing, that they could utilize those. In place of Cosmic Wisdom, Released Potential has been added to F2. These are a set of skills that are automatically equipped depending on the active legend, so players will have access to 2 different Release Potential skills based on the legends you're trying to bring to combat. Certain aspects of these skills will scale based on the amount of affinity you've built up, encouraging the use of other legendary skills before this one to obtain the maximum effect. One of the things I said was I really felt like they could have just treated it more like an overload thing. That sounds a little bit like that. For example, Release Potential Assassin is an attack that sends out 3 increasingly large shockwaves from yourself that damage enemies and immobilize those that are struck by the waves, with increased damage and greater immobilized duration depending on how much affinity you've accumulated. So we've seen skills like that before, but they're like proximity based, but this is affinity. That sounds like an interesting rework. This is too thin for me to really know. Oh god, it's like I want another beta. How can we make a decision? That sounds like there's some new shiny shit on the Conduit though. That's very exciting. Okay, here's Evoker. So to recap my upset with it. I mean, did we retread everything? We talked so much in those beta streams. Oh my god. Gabbing on and on and on and on and on. To me, this isn't distinct enough from Catalyst. And you can say, well, it's Catalyst that needs to change because Evoker's actually just really good as an idea. I don't know. It felt really weird. Like, going into it, I was expecting it to feel just like Catalyst, but it actually kind of felt like a worse Catalyst. Because, like, the range was so much shorter, you know. You tapped Q so much less regularly. Sorry, F5. So much less regularly than you otherwise would. A big point of feedback was the Evoker trait line tried to do too many things. The elemental themed traits were flavorful and helped to further define the playstyle of each familiar, but they took up a lot of space. We still like what most of these traits brought to each of the familiars, so we've decided to make them passive bonuses tied to each familiar. For example, while you're accompanied by the otter, you will always heal allies while you grant them regeneration. Hey! Very cool. Okay. I mean, that's exciting to me in a power creepy strong kind of way, not necessarily like a props to the elite spec kind of way, but whatever, right? I won't split hairs. As we mentioned in the preview stream for the Evoker, we suspected that the utility skill bonuses could use more than a stun break. Yes, that was definitely a big point of feedback I had. The majority of the feedback we saw agreed, so we went ahead with some improvements to those. Yeah, they all felt really weak, didn't they? And the animations were so lame on them too. Not quite as bad as the Ritualist, which just had floating orbs. We'll see whether they have a response for that. We also saw a ton of feedback asking for the ability to enable auto attack for familiar skills. Our initial investigation found that what this would require a complex technical change and need for more time to ensure quality and stability. But rest assured it is a priority for the team and we'll release it as soon as it's ready. Now that's interesting. If you saw my last conversation about this, I pointed out that the auto attacks in Guild Wars 2 in general just are not reliable. They're too slow. They don't tap in right. Like, there needs to be a passover at that for the kind of pace that people play the game. It kind of sounds like they're doing that. So, glass half full, you might find that we get this for the Evoker, and actually everyone just has better auto-attack behavior moving forwards, which would be fucking awesome. What do you guys think about the ability to define 2 auto-attacks? Like, let's say, I'll give you guys an example here. Let's say I'm playing a Hill Tempest or something, right? So, feel the burn, instant activation. In theory, you know, you just want to spam this, right? Like, there's not much thinking to it. You just want to tap it. You could, in theory, have that on auto attack. And now, let's say I'm an Evoker. Maybe I want the Familiar to do it as well, right? So, what do you guys think about that, just as a concept? Because, and by the way, I'm not in a camp on this. I genuinely just mean this for the, you know, or maybe I want to put Feel the Burn, but I don't want to lose the quality of life of this being on auto attack. Maybe I want my 1 skill, but I just want to be able to put a utility on it as well. Can I have 2, please, Arenanet? Because, so if you guys like that idea, my question to you then is, okay, what about 3? And then my question is, what about 4? Like, where does it stop? At what point is it, oh, I'm not playing the game anymore? Or do we really think about it and we say, well, do you know what? You could, in Guild Wars, as it's currently played, you wouldn't be able to set it to all of them because there would be no sense of skill ordering and it would just be a mess, right? There are other things to consider, like, okay, would this help AFK players and bots too much? Will they never do it on those grounds? It's just kind of an interesting conversation, I think. Anyway, yeah, so far, who wrote this? Why don't they ever, like, sign their blog post anymore, right? Because this just says by the Guild Wars 2 team. And I guess they leave it to the writer to be anonymous if they want. I don't know. So what have we got next? Gale Shot. Now, here's the thing about doing the Let's Play on Gale Shot. Gale Shot would undeniably be fun. Simple. And that's actually a pro for shooting a Let's Play. It lets me focus on you guys in chat a bit more. But everyone's going to be on Gale Shot. Let's be real. So, I don't know. Gale Shot. Gale Shot aimed high and shot true over the beta weekend. There's always room for improvement. So here's a bird's eye view of the adjustments we've made. The largest change will be to the Gale Shot's arrow generation. Gaining arrows was a largely passive experience, and there weren't enough options to add arrow generation to your build. I think I remember noticing and talking about that too. We might have been quite on point, guys, with some of our feedback this time. I don't mean to say I think a dev watched my stuff. I mean to say I think the stuff we thought and felt and said was shared by many, and therefore they ended up seeing it, which is good. In the beta, we saw that in PvE, most of the Gale Shot's strength came from triggering the Shrike Grandmaster trait rapidly. We're happy to see Gale Shot reward the projectile focus builds, but yeah, I was really happy about that, by the way. I was, if you remember, I was a miser. I was cynical. I thought it's just going to... Because remember, they had like a generic DPS GM, and then they had this GM, which was fun and flavorful and created projectiles and is obviously the one you want to go for. And I thought, oh, I bet it's just the DPS one. But no, all the big benchmarks and stuff were the fun trait. So we had an example where the fun trait was the one to go for, and I think that was beautiful. If I were Arenanet in that position, I would just kill the boring trait. I think traits that have proc effects, have visual elements and stuff are always the way to go. Just buffing the flat damage thing and redressing the balance in order to push people into something that's fundamentally not that flavorful of an experience isn't really a win, is it? It's a win in terms of build diversity, but when the diverse builds you're adding are, you know, blank pieces of paper, to put it another way, it's not it's not a victory, really. So anyway, we're happy to see Gale Shot reward the projectile focus builds, but we want to make sure playstyles built around the other GMs are also viable. Shrike's arrow generating capabilities are going to be lowered. Squall skills will grant arrows on use. This will help the Grandmaster traits stay in parity with each other while they did exactly what I said they shouldn't do. Okay, cool. Additionally, Fetch. We had a lot of discussions about Fetch. Guys, I still stand by what I said, alright? I think plucking, a feather off of the bird is cool. I think they should be merged. Don't call it Fetch then. Call it Pluck, alright? Alright, I'm iffy. Maybe I'm not totally convinced by what I said. Fetch, the master trait, can also be aid in arrow generation, being reworked to Thrill of the Catch, granting an arrow when you or your pet disable an enemy. There's a lot of fun disable synergies on Ranger, so I like the sound of that. Squall skills will also see usability changes such as whirlwind breaking stuns. What? AoE? It's becoming an AoE Stormbreak. Stun break. Perfect Storm being castable while moving. Oh, you don't have to do that though, Arenanet. Stop with the casting while moving. Stop it. Oh. Come on. None of your combat is going to feel weighty anymore. In competitive modes, Quarry's Peril and Pelt will grant 2 Wind Force stacks to make it easy to access Hawkeye in high-pressure situations. Lastly, the Cyclone Bow will now remember when it's been set to auto-attack. Yeah, that's a nice little bit. By the way, I don't know if we talked about this, but people sleuthed out why I had that bug where the bow was dropping. Apparently, it was something very specific to where we were testing, outside the doors to the Domain of Winds. That specific area of Caledon makes you drop the Cyclone Bow. It doesn't make you drop kits. It doesn't make you drop conjure weapons. It makes you drop the Cyclone Bow. That area of the world. Some kind of weird event going on in the background there. Very, very strange, right? And the joke was the Tengu don't like seeing you doing it. Be sure to keep an eye out for a new pet to encounter in Castora that works with the Gale Shots flock together trait. That's funny, actually. I would have thought some of these little teasers we've been getting on Twitter would have shown that. Alright, Luminary. While reviewing the feedback, we saw a few of the same points being repeated. The lack of Luminary-specific virtues. The penalty of... Who was providing that feedback, by the way? Because it doesn't really matter. Anyway, the penalty for using too many Radiant weapons, the low impact of the weapons themselves, and the main issues we're addressing. We've introduced a new set of Radiant virtues to replace the core Guardian ones. We'd heard about that before. We still wanted to capture some of the feeling of the core virtues with short cooldowns, instant effects, but they bring a bit more to the table. Do they have different animations or just different icons? And sound effects. Each of the virtues will also power up the next usage of their respective Radiant weapon. Ah, okay. With Virtue of Justice empowering the hammer, Resolve empowering the staff, Courage empowering the sword and shield. Our initial goal with the Shroud's recharge time... here's the question. They said they were thinking about not calling it a Shroud. I wonder whether they've gone ahead with that. Our initial goal, which scaled with a multiple number of weapons used, has been to create more flexibility to dip in and out. For example, using the shield to block an attack and then immediately exiting with a shorter cooldown. It became clear that that scaling, past the typical recharge time, disincentivized interacting with the Shroud too much, and it felt like a significant penalty beyond our original intent. We've reduced the maximum recharge to 10 seconds and 15 in competitive, while continuing to grant a reduced recharge for unused weapons. This will allow players to get a small recharge reduction when using a single weapon without the downside of an excessive recharge time when you're utilizing the full suite, blah blah blah. Finally, Radiant Shroud has been renamed Radiant Forge. Okay. Doesn't sound like enough to me. At all. Look, again, I'm going to be very, very clear. My argument is not that this thing won't be strong. It could be strong. Anything could be strong. I think it's a bag of mixed ideas, poor themes, uninteresting mechanic. It gets an F. Fail. No pass for you, Luminary. Paragon feedback was largely focused on... Okay, what I want to hear is that they are doing more wings. And that's about it. There you go. I'm being superficial and vain. No, a few more. I don't want to keep juggling my refrains to upkeep alacrity. I want to pick refrains contextual based on the kind of combat scenario I'm in, not just spam, 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 spam. I'd also like to see echoes do a bit more. It felt like some stuff that should be echoing don't, and like the whole class just got, as far as the utilities were concerned, it felt like pre-nerfed. We did a pass on the utility skills to add some additional value. Brace Yourself now grants prot to allies and grants bonus adrenaline to the Paragon on both activation and echo. Is that fun? Was I ever starved for adrenaline? And was that because I built for it or no? I don't remember. We Shall Return and Find Their Weakness also grants some bonus adrenaline on their echoes, which we expect to play well with the reverberation trait to fuel the Paragon's chance. Feverish Pulse lacked depth for a Grandmaster trait, so we folded the effects of brisk pacing to give it some additional power. This also frees up a slot of the Master tier for an additional damage focus trait. We saw a lot of feedback that the Paragon's damage potential wasn't quite there. Strengthening Stanzas moves out of GM to fill that slot, making room for a new GM with a bit more active gameplay. This trait will grant bonus damage based on current motivation tier, the same 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 10 thresholds used by chance, rewarding good resource management with a nice damage increase. Nothing mentioned about the animations. They didn't mention the wings, so has it not happened? Oh, do I put this in the poll? By the way, guys, the poll that I'm about to conduct is I can only put like 5 entries into it, so I have to on my own cull some options. I don't know whether I want to cull Paragon. I think I'd have a lot of fun on Paragon, but only if it has a lot of wings. I don't know. What else we got? Okay, and then Ritualist is weird as well, because I kind of want to play it, but I don't like Let's Playing on Necro, because when you go into Shroud, it culls dialogue volume from NPCs, and just kind of can take you out of the moment for the story quite often. Which, again, I know these are really arbitrary, silly things, but at the end of the day, I love the game, I love all the specs. We've got to find reasons to get rid of some. So, I don't know. Cull the Conduit. Conduit thinks that... What? We don't know, though. The Conduit looks good. Conduit, it sounds like, has actually had some major changes here, so I don't think I can judge it. And I kind of like the idea, right? I shouldn't have scrolled all the way back through this. This, to me, like, there's actual tangible new buttons, new animations. I mean, a Let's Play hearing... I have arrived from the mists. Or whatever the fucking legend noises are every 9 seconds or whatever when I press F1. Isn't the best either. Do acknowledge. But then they do have idle talk. Alright, let's see. Ritualist. Ritualist Shroud lacked some impact with a lot of its damage coming from the Spirit's auto attacks. That's true, it did feel quite weak. We're putting a bit more damage into the Shroud skills themselves, adjusting some cooldowns to give them a bit more incentive to stick around in Shroud for a longer period of time. What I want to hear here is Summon Spirits is no longer in the Shroud. That feels like a utility to me. I want another Spirit. And I want to make a field of spirits, really. I don't just want 3. Oh! Oh, this might be what they're doing. Summon spirits. While bringing a good amount of utility with its teleport and ability to reposition the spirits, felt too simple when compared with the other iconic 5th Shroud skills. It will still teleport, and it will still bring the spirits along with you, but instead of causing them to perform an auto, each spirit will now use a new unique skill. Anguish will fire off a quick flurry of projectiles. Wow, that sounds really different to the other skill that Anguish uses, doesn't it, guys? Isn't that the same fucking thing? It was already basically a Harbinger too. Am I crazy? I feel like Will Ferrell at the end of Zoolander reading that. I'm taking crazy pills here. Each spirit will now cast... Wanderlust will launch a larger projectile that dazes... What? By larger projectile, do you mean that it cleaves in a larger radius when it lands? And preservation will create a protective bubble that destroys... There's something new. Preservation wasn't doing that. Holy shit, though. That's pretty... Wait, and Summon Spirits is still on a pretty low cooldown. So you can spam loads of barrier blocking. Guys, I'm progging Greer CM at the moment. And I'm just going to say, more projectile blocks. Very nice. Rupture skills brought powerful effects, but tearing down spirits was slightly opposed to the core fantasy of summoning and maintaining. We've rebranded them as innovation skills to give Ritualist the feeling of channeling power through your spirits. The effects are the same, but using the skills will no longer destroy the spirit. I don't know. What's going through my head here, guys, is that I don't really know what I'm looking for from Ritualist in Guild Wars 2. How do I articulate this? Okay, look at Launch Engineer. Guild Wars 2 Launch Engineer. Look at the turrets, right, at launch. Look at how they were inspired by Team Fortress 2 and how layered they were, right? You place it, it's got the overload, it's got the pickup, it's got the detonate. There were like lots of, you know, the passive thing that they have, the tool belt skill that they gave you. There was a lot going on, right? And that kind of, to me, to my mind, that sort of made that complexity the domain of turrets. And obviously over the years, they've just removed all that. It's all fucking gone. But I don't know. I just kind of... I guess I've been in this place mentally where I've sort of thought, you know, like... A turret engineer is different to a spirit spammer. The spirit spammer is creating these fairly simplistic drone-like entities. They're stationary and they pew-pew, right? Meanwhile, engineered turrets are really diverse with their effects and stuff. And now we're in a world where all that stuff I loved about NG turrets is gone, basically. And the Ritualist is coming in, and the Ritualist is getting all that sort of stuff, you know? Like, you don't detonate your turrets, you detonate your spirits. And, you know, like, but we don't detonate them anymore, I guess. They're kind of like overloads in a way. Or overcharges, whatever it was called. I don't know. I guess it's just, I'm getting my head around the new status quo, really. It sounds like they've made some nice changes to the Ritualist, and I wouldn't be opposed to doing the LP on it, I don't think. For the nostalgia and the GW1 vibes. Might be cool. Okay, Troubadour. They actually already implemented a big point of feedback for the Troubadour, and that was the audio, right? The music, and we covered that during the beta. Troubadour seeing changes across the board after its beta performance fell a little flat. Reverberating loot is becoming lively loot, sending damaging sound waves towards your enemy while also sending healing tones towards your allies. Wait, I read that out loud and didn't actually inhale any of it. Sorry, reverberating loot, I think was F3, no? So, it was... Oh, or was it F1? See, I don't know. F1 heals now? Or F3 heals now? Harmonious Harp is being updated to function as a channel. That, I think, is a very good idea, Arenanet. I think that these should have been channels. There should be more channeling. I mean, come on. The fantasy is playing instruments, and I think channeling is a part of that. And I think one of the reasons it felt a bit strange being a bard and very Guild Wars 2ified was that there weren't those longer casts on there. Having its healing condensed to give more impactful feel while also granting distortion at baseline. This allows the Troubadour's Harp to be a strong healing tool while their loot can handle smaller amounts of more frequent healing. Hold on. Hold the fuck on. They're not saying what I think they're saying, are they? Oh, I can't do it anymore. Where is it? Where is it? The Harmonious Harp is being updated to function as a channel skill, having its healing condensed, granting distortion baseline. To me, right? Not everyone. Because, I mean, we're talking about healing. It's not baseline 5-target distort, no longer even on the elite. I mean, I'd love to see it. I'd love it just for the wackiness and just allow it to exist just for a day. I don't know whether that's what they're saying there. I assume that that's not. Sorry, let me look at chat here. A full minion rip build might be cool since you no longer destroy the spirits. Maybe one of those LI builds. Hey, you might have a good point there, actually. Yeah, Hardy. Maybe. Wait, I'm tone deaf about a flute? Look, my audio, I could not hear the sounds before because I had the stream compressed. It was quieter on my end than it was on your end. Alright? The tails and their performance bonuses have been adjusted for the healing and utility tails. The performance bonus will grant notes for playing the matching instrument, and the abilities themselves will always be full strength. I see. This allows for more innate note generation while also making their usage more flexible. Does that mean we're getting rid of the trait that generates notes? Because I did feel quite pushed into that, I must say. There's a decent amount of trait adjustments, both small and large. The minor traits are being fully reworked. Symphonic Resonance now grants a unique bonus based on which instruments are playing, such as movement speed with the drum or a small pulse healing with the harp. Harmonize will now grant a note whenever you use a Phantasm skill to improve note generation even more. Wow. Troubadour's being changed from granting alacrity to granting quickness. And it will do so with a new Grandmaster trait, Life of the Party, which grants boons to allies affected by your lively loot or crescendo skills. We hope with these changes, the next time you see a Troubadour, it will strike the right chord. I love these fucking... There's going to be, like, nerds out there saying, cringe! Cringe! I can't handle it! It's cringy to me! But I love it, man. Why is it going from alacrity to quickness? What's the story there? What was wrong with one and what's right with the other? You're excited for Ritualist? You were a Ritualist main in Guild Wars 1, now you can finally play it in both? Yeah, but can you? I mean, superficially you can, but if the gameplay does not match even remotely the experience you had in the first game, then it's just, you know, it's just changing the label on something, isn't it? Quickness makes more sense in lore, does it? Or are we basing this on D&D nerddom and what? I mean, are Troubadours even in D&D? Bards are in D&D, obviously. I mean, real life Troubadours in France. You know, when I was exploring the French medieval countryside or the Renaissance, and I saw a Troubadour and he played me a lovely tune, you know, I felt my cooldowns recharging quicker rather than being faster. You know, I felt my cooldowns coming back up. So I feel like alacrity fits more, just based on the real life angle. You know, do you guys know that feeling? That cooldown feeling? Maybe because quick makes more sense for a music theme build, tempo and stuff? Yeah, but there's a speed component to alacrity as well. It's alacrity. And the speed component, no one questions that when we have it on when we're in Chronomancer discussions. You don't like quickness change because it would be better on Mirage and Trube gets alacrity instead? I don't hate it, by the way. I just want to be very clear. I sort of nothing this, but I want to know what motivated it, that's all. The only way to get alacrity without traits is Relic of Rivers, which gives you alacrity on dodge, which is exactly how it works for Mirage 2. Yeah, I remember. We actually played Janthir Wilds with the alacrity, with the Relic of Rivers. I have to say, guys, I'm not very excited about relics anymore. There's been 2 expansions and 6 Living World episodes of junk relics to me. I mean, there's been some nice-ish ideas there, but the way that it's currently structured is just not good. I'd like to see this slot get split up. In lore, a bard motivates people to be active. So in D&D, bards... so this isn't D&D, and it's not a bard. But if we look at both of those, quickness makes more sense. Because it's effectively those things. If they kept Alacrity on Troubadour, you can get self quick from the sigils, so now you can have quick and alac for self and open mod. Well, that's true for any Alacrity build. I can have quick and Alacrity on any elite spec by doing the exact same thing. I can do that on Renegade, I can do that on Tempest, I can do that anywhere. Well, okay, so from what I can see in chat is we don't really know. I mean, I feel like they should have said in the blog post what their biggest motivation is. But hey, maybe it's just that a lot of people were looking for that D&D connection or that Bard-like connection, and fair enough, I guess. My gut instinct was that it had something about the interplay with Troubadour and Chrono, but I don't know. All right, there you go. That's it. There you go. Oh, shit. Okay, what do I cull? Okay, I'm just going to type the ones that I'm excited about. So get ready, guys. Let's do a poll. What is the Let's Play? What do we play? Okay, here's what I can say. I can say that I don't want to play Luminary. Evoker having the little pet things baseline, fair enough. So Evoker gets to be on the list. Paragon, I think I'd be interested, especially with more DPS options. I don't think Ritualist. Conduit, yeah, I think it's got some new stuff to show off, so I'll put Conduit on the list. Who else? Who else? Gale Shot would be fun. Do I really want to do Amalgam? I think I'm going to put Gale Shot on the list over Amalgam, really. Oh, God, I can only put 4? Oh, but Troubadour might be cool. I mean, Troubadour is quickness now. Troubadour's a fucking quickness, so that's, like, perfect for story and open world. Oh, Troubadour's got to get on there. Okay, Troubadour. Okay, I've brought it down to 4 specs, and guys, I have to be honest. Any of the other 5 I could have played. I think I would be happy enough with all of these. So, wait, and who did I play last year? Oh, I played Ranger, okay. And the year before that, I think we were a Rev. I'm just wondering if I should remove Evoker from the list for someone else. Is there someone I'm forgetting? No, I think this is it. Alright, start poll. Okay, guys. So there you go. Out of those 4, you can pick the actual one. Whatever wins that poll, I will let's play the game on. Do an armor class poll and drill down from there? No, because I don't necessarily want to do one from each armor class. It doesn't, you know, my enthusiasm doesn't map to the armor classes, does it? In fact, armor classes are very arbitrary. It almost doesn't mean anything, really. Don't forget to actually look at the results this time. I'm getting called out. Excuse me, I look at the results of every single poll. I might get to it 2 hours later after you've got bored and fucked off and left the chat, right? I might be looking at it, you know, the next week when I'm watching my own VODs, sitting there in the dark, picking Doritos out of my chest hair, alone. But I do read it, eventually. Go Rev and keep the Edgelord dream alive. No. Do you know what? I always remember that blog post Arenanet put out with Heart of Thorns, where they felt the need to specify that you could dress your Rev up like pink and in like fluffy clothes, and it's for anyone, really. I mean, that is the death of true art, Arenanet. That is the fucking death of meaningful experiences and targeted ideas. Stop trying to make everything for everyone. Not everything has to be for everyone. All right? I know you're trying to sell copies of Heart of Thorns, but really now. Let it thrive in the box that it was made for. You do wonder what lore comments the Revenant Legends might have for the X-Pack. Okay, I'm not looking at the results right now. We're going to go straight into the next. Guys, this is panel 21 Out of 61, we're 1/3 there. We've all done very well, I think. Alright, so here we go. Resolving an amalgam of issues. Now, this one's just kind of technical and maybe just will be interesting and doesn't need me to respond to constantly. Let's see. Hi, my name's Robert Nekarok. I've actually never heard that name. I'm a platform team leader at Arenanet. And today, and look, someone's signing their name on it. Good. Today I get to be the mouthpiece for a large, multidisciplinary effort that managed the Guild Wars 2 Visions of Eternity Elite Specialization beta event through its release, subsequent issues, and eventual fix. Beta events, they did have, if my memory of the beta is day one had a lot of issues, but that was about it, if I recall. I mean, certain things got disabled, didn't they? Beta events have usually been affairs where the development teams seek feedback on new features, skills, and systems, but as we've all been reminded recently, these betas are also the first live trial of new technologies that are used to produce new features, skills, and systems. This post will recap the rocky start from this beta event and provide the behind-the-curtain look at how our team approached and overcame those challenges with help from all of you. I want to start with a special shout-out to all of you in the community. Aw, isn't that nice? We recognise this is not an ideal situation, from the original game issues to us requiring your aid in gathering more data when we purposely enabled a known crash-inducing event. Through it all, we saw many messages of kindness, understanding, and support. On behalf of our whole team, our words cannot express our gratitude as we struggled to solve this issue. Wow. What? My take for the beta was, yeah, there were a few bumps, but that's to be expected of a beta. This sounds like there was some high drama going on. It didn't feel like high drama to me. It felt like, yeah, it's a beta. It's here to fix this stuff. Let them cook. The alpha beta on Wednesday, August 20th. The beta showcasing the new elite specializations for our 6x... Look at how word padded that is. Yes, the beta began, indeed. This was not a great start, as the beta was supposed to begin at 9. But it started 17 minutes past. We simply messed up a time zone conversion, and the starting time was off by an hour. Fortunately, we were able to modify some config files and get the beta event started before 10. We never managed to ship bugs, so it was a rush even to get that 20 minutes. That's cool. We never plan to ship bugs, but we do make plans and have systems in place that allow us to quickly react when issues do arrive. Soon after the release, 3 issues were identified that we knew we wanted to correct as soon as possible. One of these we were able to simply disable with config files. A second issue, unrelated to the beta event, could be fixed by deploying a change to one of our back-end servers. A third would require a same-day game build. By 2 PM, all 3 issues had been handled, and we were looking forward to kicking back and joining in the beta fun. Shortly after this, our community manager, Ruby, messaged the group asking for a status update, and the game was on fire. Oh, shit. Oh, this is quite good. We're going on a real story here, and I'm reading it terribly, sorry. All around our remote offices, brows furrowed. We weren't getting any crash reports, and all of the graphs looked steady. Once we knew to start digging, however, we eventually hit pay dirt. I've never heard that term. Pay dirt? One of our client error reports was repeatedly showing code 1083. Cue the ominous music. Dun dun dun. Dun. It's a dreadful note. The longer the note, the more dread. Network error. Please check your internet connection and try again. I was going to say something else here, by the way. Oh, yeah. I kind of like blog posts like this, by the way. They used to do a lot of technical blog posts. And it's kind of invigorating for me, I don't know, to read some new ones. All locked up. Code 1083 is a very specific error code, referenced only once in our entire server code base, waiting for unlock. In Guild Wars 2's core server architecture, locks are a component of how our map contexts are organized, as maps can be created on any server in our hosting fleet. What's a map context? I don't know what a map context is. So in their server architecture, a lock is a component of how their map contexts are organized. Does he mean overflows? Is that another way of talking about an overflow, like a mini server that's spun up of a specific map? Is that it? Like each overflow is a different context, and it doesn't have to be, maybe each fractal that's currently going on. There's 20 groups in Deepstone. Each one is a different context, maybe. That's my guess, maybe. The character locking mechanism exists to ensure that there's only ever one map context that has authority to write data to your character's record. So my account can't get credit for being in a Fractal when I'm actually in Bloodtide, maybe? Something like that? A useful tool to mitigate exploits, but it's still used primarily for ensuring consistency of character and account data. Normally, when you enter a map, a pending lock is placed in the database for your character, showing the game server's intent to take authority. A handoff occurs when there's no existing lock or an existing lock is released from a previous game server, and the pending lock is converted to the authority lock. This is really interesting. I wonder if they get a bit nervous about divulging some of these details because nefarious, ne'er-do-wells might be looking for vulnerabilities and now they understand a bit more about the back-end processes, right? But we don't always get to live in a perfect world. Bugs happen. So wait, let me reread that. So you enter a map, you get a pending lock placed in the database for your character, showing where the server's intent to take authority, and a handoff occurs when there's no existing lock or an existing lock gets released. And then the pending one is converted to a real authority lock. Okay. But we don't always get to live in a perfect world. Bugs happen, maps crash. How does an elite spec end up? As the developers, we want to gather as much debugging information about these events as we can. So when a map context does crash, we can actually take a quick pause during shutdown. We can gather relevant information and email it back to the office to investigate and fix. During this flow, the game server knows that this map is crashing, and it can tell the database to release any held locks. At this point, we gathered our first real clue as to the cause of both our lack of operational visibility and the type of area we would need to chase down. As we were not receiving the reports of these crashes, we knew that the entire cleanup code path was never getting triggered, meaning locks were not being released cleanly. The map context holding that lock no longer existed, so there was no entity to tell to release the lock. The final outcome was to simply expire the lock on a timer. After a while, with no update to the previous lock owner, we would release the lock and a character would once again connect to a map context that was able to acquire one. The long timer exists to cover a number of different infrastructure interruptions, and while we recognize it is painful for the player to be unable to log in, it's the lesser of two evils, as it ensures the integrity and consistency of our players' data. This is interesting. So, sometimes I've had issues where... Oh man! So the bug that we're having with quick play right now has to be related to this. The quick play bug that we get at the moment, right, is I'm in game, I hit go into quick play here, okay, and it finds the players. You get thrown into a loading screen. It says Fractals of the Mist. You're loading into the fractal, but then you get booted back to the map that you were previously on. And then it will wait a second, and then basically what you have to do is change maps to get the prompt, enter Fractals, and you click it, and you'll get the loading screen, and it will say Fractals, and it might bump you back to the old map again. I was getting bumped back to, when it started hitting me earlier today, I was in the memory of Lion's Arch, I got bumped back to old LA 4 times in a row. And I was like, is it because I'm in old LA? What? So I left, but then I got bumped back to Bloodtide as well. And I've been getting bumped back to a lot of places. Doesn't that kind of sound like a similar thing to what they're discussing here, maybe? I don't know. That's just my layman's completely ignorant observation. After discussion among the team and leadership, we believe this was a significant issue. And they're not even talking about the quick play beta here, obviously. After discussion among the team and leadership, we believe this was a significant issue that prematurely ending the beta event would be the correct course of action, providing players a better experience and allowing the team to investigate the source of the issue. With the knowledge that our application code was crashing and not triggering the collection and reporting flows, Occam's Razor suggested to us that we would be looking for a memory corruption issue, and it was confirmed later that evening using the operating system logs. Needle and a stack of needles. We started by breaking down the problem and trying to find the smallest scope where the issue could exist. While this would help us prevent from staring at millions and millions of lines of code, with the knowledge that we had, the scope space couldn't be narrowed too finely. We have 9 new elite specializations, and we didn't know which specialization was the catalyst, pun intended, of the crash. We ship code all the time. And although the beta event was in August, the very first code changes supporting these specializations were submitted last year. On Thursday, several team members started working on the problem from this angle by searching for keywords in the submission comments and perusing changes. Wow. They just got to go digging back through the comments of different commits. Other folks looked into our data, seeing... How many people did they have on this? Looked into our data, seeing if we could identify any patterns regarding certain maps, professions on those maps, player counts on those maps, etc. that could help further narrow the scope of the issue. We did have one other hint that helped narrow down where we should begin looking, and it dealt with how our game servers manage and group different types of memory. The mind of a game server. Every game needs data to know how to operate, which creatures to spawn where, when dynamic events trigger, the geometry of the ground for collision detection, and so much more. Yeah, all this shit, by the way, which is why you don't have private servers for Guild Wars 2, because it would be such a Herculean effort. You'd be remaking all of that for yourself. A game server is able to create a number of map contexts, and each map context will claim some memory to hold all of its local information for use and updates. In an effort to minimize our memory footprint and reduce duplication... This is a bit hard to follow for a layperson. Our game servers, like, we can follow it in a very shallow way, but in like an authentic, meaningful way, I don't know whether we really can. Or I can only speak for myself, I guess. Our game servers will additionally create a section of shared static memory. Here we can place any unchanging data and allow it to be read-only, shared among all map contexts. Most things tied to identifier tags like items, achievements, creature types, etc. can exist here. They can be read by any map, as it will always be the same information regardless of which map is running. Yeah, okay, so like the data that defines what's in my inventory. Like the Bifrost isn't meant to change to a different item just because I went to Lake Doric. It's the same every time. It doesn't need to be written to something new. The Bifrost will always be the Bifrost, so we can just have it as read-only. I get it. Based on the memory corruption crashes we saw, or didn't see, we could determine that the only way for this to occur was through an issue with that shared memory. Our search space was narrowed slightly more. Yeah, so they had this screenshot here. So what are they saying here? There's a game server that's not sharing any static data. It has static data and then map specific. So it's largely static data. Oh, so these are all just different contexts, I see. And then a game server that's sharing it. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at, guys, to be honest. On the right. It's weird streaming this stuff because I feel an urge to keep reading, keep going, keep going. Like, on my own time, I would just sit here in silence and, like, look for probably quite a lot longer. Try again. While we continued our investigations, we commandeered a planned team-wide internal playtest on Thursday to attempt to reproduce the crash on one of our development servers. The instructions were intentionally unclear. Make a beta character, mash buttons, submit a report if you crashed. There was no crash. We couldn't cause a crash! Dun dun dun. More dreadful notes, guys. Our development servers run slightly different code and config than our live servers do. On Friday, we came up with a plan to run another internal playtest on our stage clients. Hey, I've been on those! Which is the closest mimic we have to the live environment. I've been on those many times. Once again, we couldn't cause a crash. With fewer options available, we made the decision to enable the beta event in the live game again, intending to have our players cause a crash. The beta. At exactly noon Pacific. Was this when they turned it on for only like an hour or whatever? Our chat grew quiet for a few minutes as we all pondered what might happen next. We'd made some additional preparations prior to re-enabling the beta event by identifying specific tools and to monitoring and try and provide the best opportunity to spot crashes and capture debug data. What we hadn't specifically prepared for was how lucky we were about to get. Just before the noon relaunch, we deployed a new build, fixing a bug involving some of the new player summons. The first stroke of luck was that a new build forced all of our game servers to create new shared memory buffers, which shuffled around all the memory allocations. At 11 past 12, our monitors reported the first crash. Our second stroke of luck came a moment before, when we received a full crash report from our internal diagnostics. The second and a half stroke of luck was the nature of the crash, as provided by the crash dump file. A piece of code was trying to delete a piece of deleted memory. Why are we double deleting? We asked ourselves. Wait, why are we deleting from the read-only memory at all? First, we wanted to make sure this was the crash we were looking for and not a strangely timed coincidence. We passed the information from the crash dump investigation to our QA team, and within 15 minutes we were able to reproduce the bug. Yeah, but how? What did they do in-game? I want to know what actually happened as far as like the play experience was concerned. In the meantime, our team, is it a guy mousing over a tooltip and pinging it into chat? And well, what is it? In the meantime, our team monitoring the live game had noted a few more. Some were sending crash reports, and others were triggering the memory monitoring tools we'd set up earlier. The reports all showed similar information about trying to read or delete a section of already deleted memory. After one final discussion to confirm whether we'd gathered all we needed, we once again disabled the beta. Engineers cause and fix the bug. So here we go. The engineer profession's newest spec, the Amalgam, introduced a flashy new mechanic called Morph, and a new code path for how these skills are set and updated. This new behavior was what morphed our plans of success. Who's writing this stuff? Out of a successful beta into a 3-day tribulation. The bug occurred due to a misunderstanding of the data structure using a local... Yeah, I mean, look, just gut instinct. The morph stuff on Amalgam, or indeed the F5 stuff on Evoker, would have been a good place to look straight away because they're so transformative, right, and very different in terms of what we've seen them doing with the UI and the design before. The bug occurred during a misunderstanding of data structure using local map context memory or the game's server's shared memory. When a single engineer player with the Amalgam Elite spec was equipped and swapped out a morph skill while the cooldown was active, the intent of the code was to store that skill change and the cooldown carryover relevant to that player's context. Hey, just like this. It's this. It's what happens in game all the time. I press Aftershock. They let me swap Aftershock to something else, and it remembers the cooldown here. But this is for me. This is going on with Liz. It's not going on with this guy that was clearly just checking me out, by the way. Right? And by the way, this was an update that they provided post-release. So it was doing that with a morph skill, basically. The change was made using a pointer that unknowingly referenced the shared memory. So it was like trying to change not that specific player's cooldown, but all morph skill cooldowns. Is that right? That's when we intended to delete a local reference to the previous skill. We were accidentally deleting the skill from the wider shared memory. And then the next time anyone else on the server attempted to reference the now deleted morph skill, we would crash. Alright, I'm going to be horrible now. I'm going to be really nasty. I'm going to say something that's proper prickish because I get to just say it and not be tested on it, right? But you know how they said they got all of their guys to get in and test and button mash? I feel like that's one of the things... And they couldn't do it. I feel like that's one of the things I would have tried. I would have immediately been looking at morph skills. And like I say, the evoker thing. Anything like that. And I reckon I would have been fucking with stuff like that. I really do. But hey. We will never know, right? That's my privilege. I get to be a snob and say that. So there you go. But it wasn't the original instance. It was the next time anyone tried to equip a morph skill. So it was a little bit more buried. Well, there you go. Fortunately for us, we wrote this data structure and its helper function, so technically the fix was a one-liner. At 12:53, we submitted the fix to the branch, began our processes for bug testing, regression testing, and promoting the change to our staging and eventually live builds. Oh wow, Valen says you could change Amalgam toolbelt skills mid-PvP match. Could you? Wow, that's quite the anecdote. That's amazing. Yeah, very good point. You could cause a crash, but yeah, but the blog post specifically says their guys couldn't cause a crash. They couldn't cause a crash on the staging server. They couldn't cause a crash on their own server. On their internal development ones. They had to go live and just wing it. and see if the players did again. But I mean, look, I'm not trying to be judgy of Arenanet or their QA team or anything like that. The reality is, in seconds, you can have thousands of people testing something, right? It's way quicker, way faster to host a beta than to ask just a couple of people to try it out. It's just the way it is, and that's what the beta's for. Like, I don't begrudge them for that at all. Yeah, let the community do it. If you can put 10,000 people on a job and they'll willingly do it for free, then yeah, fucking do it. It's unfortunate the crashes caused the beta to be intermittently up early on, but everyone knows what they're getting in for. No one can judge them for that. So there you go. Personally, I am still impressed with how quickly we're able to ship changes. It's due in part to our wizardly engineering team and who actually fixed this particular bug. So some hero out there doesn't want to be named. However, our build pipeline also has a few tricks up its sleeve to help us keep things moving along quickly. For most Tuesday releases, we need to run a full build that includes all of our code and content. However, for a change with only one piece of server code, we can perform a fast build. This is a much more minimal and selective build that takes very little time to complete, allowing us to get it out the door quickly. The Gamma Beta. Just a few hours later, with the fix deployed for the live game, we enabled the beta event once again. Our engineering team and QA logged in to create amalgam characters and verify the fix. To our relief, there were no further crashes from the verification. And that's, I assume now, little asterisk noted for future implementation. Our team continued to monitor using the same tools we had earlier in the day, and it appeared the fix had worked. We are pleased to finally deliver the experience of these new elite specializations to our players with all new skills and mechanics working as expected. Oh man, they don't need to say all of this. It was a beta. Don't worry about it. I mean, it's not like this was happening at launch. This almost reads like an apology post. Like they fucked up and let everyone down at release, and they so did not. They did not. And if anyone's given them that impression, show them the door. In closing, after the incident and after the beta event closed a week later, the team came together once again to recap, iterate and plan. It's possible to catch issues such as this internally and early. Is it possible to catch these early in the process? Is there a new tool or procedure that can help mitigate these types of problems? If we were to see a repeat of this issue, what would we handle differently? How could we recover to a nominal player state faster? I'm going to morph, another little bit of wordplay there, to the closing I wrote for a different post back in 2020. Our continued efforts are always targeted at providing our players with the best experience and the usability of our services. I don't know. What post was this from? We love to celebrate the designs architected by those before us and the tools and processes we utilize to retain our world-class server standards and in-game mechanics and events. We recognize that we may not achieve perfection, but we will certainly strive for it with every future procedure and deployment. As we look forward to the exciting new features and projects the gameplay and design teams are bringing you, we are constantly working behind the scenes to make sure you can always experience and enjoy all that Guild Wars 2 has to offer. Thanks again, and see you, Interior. Yeah, I mean, I certainly don't feel most of that was necessary. I mean, I don't think they did anything wrong. That's quite interesting. You know, in situations like this, I always think, you know how like when a studio fucks up, frothing-mouthed nerds go ballistic and say, "We demand an apology. Where's the apology? They never communicate. They never say sorry." It's like, yeah, look at posts like this. They're fucking apologizing when they don't have to. They're like bowing to the floor for you. They're like shining your shoes and kissing your ring and telling you that you're a god, really. You are the god, the almighty consumer. Please buy Visions of Eternity. I have a link in my description. So there you go. All right, nice little blog post. Okay, another technical blog post here. We are now on slide 37 out of 61. This one I'm really excited about, guys. Like, genuinely. Here comes a graphics update. Little bit of background. 2 years ago, they talked about engine improvements. They talked about going to the new DirectX. No more of that silly DX9. DirectX 12, everyone. And look, we're going to get all these fancy new effects. It's going to be amazing. And what have we had? You know, the broader context here is people say Guild Wars is starting to look dated. It really depends where you are, by the way. Where's a gorgeous area? Oh god, it's quite damning if I can't find one. I'll tell you what, my go-to is always the Temple of Cormyr. Alright, you cannot argue with the Temple of Cormyr. Temple of Cormyr, during the day though. During the day. And my game looks like shit at the moment anyway, by the way, because I've reduced the settings for raiding, so I don't know. Anyway, I have been disappointed that there hasn't been more on the polishing the graphics, you know, shaders, model quality, shit like that, right? Like, really, lighting. I was hoping for more fruits, but so far all we've really had is the post-processing breaking apart, which I love, okay? Really, it's fantastic that they broke the post-processing apart, that I don't have to sit and look at the bloom washing everything out. It's really, really good. I'm so grateful for it. I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. But you know, it's been a while now, and I want more graphic things. I want more people to look at Guild Wars and say, hey, that looks like a good modern game. Not, oh, that looks like a dated old game, all right? And especially, like, if you watch my recent FF stuff, they just did a huge graphics update. I mean, we've got to keep on top of this stuff. So I was very, very happy to see a blog post 3 days ago. Tech Talk. Improved shadow technology lands in Guild Wars 2 Visions of Eternity. So this isn't really Visions of Eternity news. This is Guild Wars 2 news. And it's a front-end graphics thing. I have skimmed this. I haven't read it in detail. I've looked at the before and afters, and I'm very impressed. So let's read it in detail and see what we got. When Visions of Eternity launches next week, we're shipping a new shadow technology that will allow us to make some graphical enhancements to the game. Shadows do a lot to make the game world feel believable, beyond just obscuring light. Our mind takes cues from shadows to help understand depth, shape, distance, and motion. Without them, a 3D world can look flat or disconnected. Note, this post dives deep into technical details, the best kinds of details. So if you're just here for a look at the before and afters, scroll down. But if you're curious about lighting and shadow systems, read on. It's not a very long blog post, so I don't think it can go into that much detail. But here we go. So, shadowy goals. Since the launch of Guild Wars 2, graphics hardware is advanced, which affords us... Okay. Final little bit of background, just so that you guys know before we go into this. The shadows setting in Guild Wars 2, I currently have off. Okay. This is one of the biggest FPS nukes in the game. If you've ever watched my, like, recommended graphics video guides videos or whatever, if you haven't, I do recommend them. Go have a look at my channel and you'll see them. You'll go from like 30 frames to like 144 and you'll be fine. Shadows are a big thing. As far as I understand, they really pressure the CPU, and this game doesn't multi-thread very well. Modern CPUs don't actually help very much. Shadows are always one of the first things that I turn down or off if I want to get frames. Shadows can be pretty brutal. So can reflections. But to be a bit more specific, going to low shadows almost has zero cost on your frames. So, for example, right now, you can see I'm at 93, 97. I was at 99 a second ago. If I ultra shadow, you see I dropped to 60 there. Right? But if I just go to low, I'm back up to 93, right? 99, 95. Low shadows, like, you never really need to go to none. Like, you'll get all your frames back on low. And by the way, medium as well. Medium basically has no impact. Oh, actually, medium's had a big impact. Never mind. Oh, no, I'm getting it wrong. Low is good. And then medium and high are kind of like in their own band, all right? See, here's the thing. The reason I opt for none rather than low a lot, and in fact we'll demo it on medium here, is shadows in Guild Wars 2, unless you go to ultra, they don't cast very far away from you. So if you look at this pillar here, right, under my cursor, you see that big, like, blobby, ill-defined shadow? As I walk over to it, it will come into definition. So here's your quality shadow. But as I walk away, it goes to something more generic. And so what becomes... once you've noticed this, what becomes very obvious is just like all these warping, morphing shadows everywhere, all over the place. And it looks really unnatural. And maybe you guys don't really notice this, But once it, or maybe you get desensitized to it and you don't think about it. But if you spot it in kind of and think it's ugly, you kind of can't unsee it, right? And so what really happens when you go higher on the shadows is it just pushes that further out. See? So like here, now it's further away. Not shaders. So here, there'll always be blobs when it's none. The baked in ones in the ground, basically. Here, if we go to low, sorry, if we go to medium, they're there. If I push them higher now, you see that, but the warping, the moving is still a thing. It's just a bit further away from your character. So to me, it's like, well, I'm still going to see it. So fuck high, fuck medium, fuck low. I'm going to none, right? It catches my eye less to just have them off. And then Ultra pushes them out as far as they can. And you genuinely won't see them very much, but it's pretty heavy on the frames, right? So there you go. So that's my understanding of shadows. I nearly always play with them off. Let's go back to the blog post. What I would like to see here is that they've not only improved the way that the shadows look, but actually optimized them too. See, because there's another thing, right? The fact is most people will just click best appearance. They'll say it's a game from 2012. They'll just click the preset best appearance, and they nuke their frames, and they say Guild Wars is badly optimized. And people don't like to think. People don't like to really look at what each setting is doing to their client. And so it's kind of, you know, I say this all the time. It's on Arenanet. It's on the developer to be like the parent in the room, right? Don't let the children make the mistake. Be careful about the options you offer and what you put as your defaults, because people will just fucking press buttons randomly thinking they've done the best thing, and they haven't. Like, it doesn't really actually affect the aesthetics of the game that much, but you get so much performance out of it. Anyway, so there you go. That's where I'm coming at this from. That's my mindset. Now let's see what they say. Since the launch of Guild Wars 2, graphics hardware is advanced, which affords us an opportunity to improve the rendering. One of the areas we targeted was our shadow system. All our improvements have two major goals in mind. See, they're talking here like new hardware has given them more headroom for shadows, but as far as I can see, it hasn't. Shadows still brutalize modern PCs. A 2025 PC is not that much better at handling shadows than the 2012 ones were. Seriously. But they think they have this headroom, I guess. Cover more of the screen. We'd like to see more distant parts of the world rendered with high quality dynamic shadows. Increased detail. We want to see crisper edges and more details, especially small ones. At the same time, we want to make sure that players with less powerful systems can still have a smooth experience. So we're only limiting ourselves to changing the high, medium, and ultra settings, leaving the rest unchanged. See, I don't actually know if I'm excited about that. So none is going to be the same. Low is going to be the same. Medium, high, and ultra aren't necessarily even going to be more performant. But maybe we'll get more bang for our buck. Yeah, who knows, right? Background in shadows. Our dynamic shadows are created using a technique called cascaded shadow maps. This means we draw a view from the main light multiple times and store the distance from the light to each pixel into an image called a shadow map. When drawing the main view, we compare the distance of each pixel. Oh, do you know where we should go? Do you guys want to know the two best places for shadows in Guild Wars 2? I will show you. Shadows are a good thing for Arenanet to look at, but I think some of it's actually environment artists more than it is engine capabilities. Oh my fucking god. Okay, Tech-It. Yeah, the orphans. But it's not Christmas, is it? So I'm not turning that on. I'm gonna show you guys. Maybe you can guess. Long-time watchers of mine may know, because I always say the same thing over and over and over again. What am I doing here, really? Okay, place number 1 with some nice striking shadows is indeed the Dead End Bar. No shadows. Not very impressive. Ultra shadows. Oh my god. What? Is this Guild Wars 2? Or is this a different video game? Alright, see, so here we're very close to the light. Okay, so we get this really striking effect on the wall at the back. Absolutely brilliant. And so this is why as well, like, it's inconsistent. Most of the time you can get away with not having great shadows set up. But then every now and then there'll be a spot. And there, by the way, look. They don't even show on high shadows. You've got to be on ultra. The dead end bar is incredible. Really, really, really good. Now, who knows the other place that I'm going to go to? Okay, Turtle Moji got it. Think of the children. Think of the orphans. Okay, the other one. Now, it might need to be day for this one. And I doubt you guys can follow me to this to check it out on your own end. The Captain's Airship. I haven't been here for a long time. The Captain's Airship here in Gendaran Fields. What time is it right now? Tyrian time / time. It's 3 in the morning, Tyrian time. Wait, is that Tyrian server time? How long until it's day? Oh no, we get to see it anyway. Alright. You're looking at it. You might want a full screen here. Alright, you might want to go up to 1440p. That shadow of the airship is a long fucking way away. But it's real. And look, as I jump, can you see Liss right above my cursor? That's Liss. Hello. It's better if you're on a big old char or whatever. As you see players running around. On my little dream MMO project, I have a thing like this. It's a side-scrolling game. It's a 2D game. And there's 2 playing fields. One's in the foreground and the other with other MMO players is all the way back there. But look, you can actually see that shadow is genuinely reacting to the game. The airship's not moving, so you don't get to realize it. But like, it's even showing my mini as my mini's driving around. Pretty sick, right? Pretty good. So Guild Wars does have its moments. And again here, though, if I go to high, we can still see it out there. Medium, it's less distinct. Low, Liss is finally gone. So yeah. Anyway, just 2 more little observations about shadows and nice little shadowy moments. Might be interesting to come back here after the patch. Okay, so. Oh, I already read all of this. Oh, no, I didn't. When drawing the main view, we compare the distance of each pixel to the light with the distance from the light in the shadow map. If the pixel is farther away in its shadow, it is in shadow. Otherwise, it has light shining on it. The view from the light is warped when projected onto the main view. So our ability to compare pixel distances is not perfect. The cascaded part of cascaded shadow maps means we make multiple shadow maps to cover different places on the screen, reducing the warping of each individual map. I can't follow this. I'm not technically minded enough. I need diagrams. I need it to be an actual GCD talk. I need this guy to be up there with a whiteboard. Yeah. Increased resolution. The obvious way to increase detail is simply to increase the number of pixels in the shadow maps. Implementing this took some careful refactoring because some other parts of the engine made assumptions about what resolution the shadow maps would be. So we're increasing the resolution from 512 to 1024 on medium, 1024 to 2048 on high and ultra. Once we saw how much better it looked, we recognized the opportunity to improve it even further. This reminds me of like modding an Elder Scrolls game and you go into like the I and you bump the shadow map resolution up, right? Better cascade calculations. Cascade placement and size are very important for getting nice shadows and is one of the biggest changes we've made. Our original implementation... Does that relate to what we looked at with the fireplace and the moon, I guess, right now, out here? Our original implementation placed 1 or 2 fixed-size circles in the world, depending on your graphics settings. This has nice properties like intuitive parameters to tweak how much of the world would be covered by dynamic shadows, and it does a good job of covering the center of the screen where a player is looking most of the time. So you're telling me that when I change the graphics setting, the thing casting the light is actually moving and changing? Is that right? Obviously not the model or whatever, but you know, this the thing casting the rays, the position of it or whatever. With the addition of flying mounts and more extreme and awesome terrain shapes, the algorithm was starting to show some cracks. The new algorithm now covers more of the screen. Yeah, I guess if you're that thing I showed on low graphics, watching the shadows render in, If you're moving really fast on a Griffin, you see it really, really obviously. The new algorithm now covers more of the screen by dynamically changing how much of the world is covered by a shadow map. The move from fixed size in-world space to variable size required careful placement and sizing to ensure the shadow stays stable when the camera moved. But after nailing those details down, a significantly larger portion of the screen can now have dynamic shadows. What does that mean? Does that mean that this airship view is at a risk of changing? And like the fireplaces, it might change? Or does it mean more of Tyria will have moments like this, which otherwise are few and far between? The images below are a development view showing how much of the screen old and new algorithms were covered by dynamic. Red is the most detailed, yellow is less, cyan is least. Notice how the new algorithm covers with more dynamic shadows, covers the area on the right side than the algorithm missed. So we have to look at the pictures here. Okay, so this is their demonstration of what I was showing at Amnoon just now, right? That red area is where it was really crisp. The yellow bit is where it was less so. And outside of that, you didn't even get them, right? So this is old, and this is new. And you can obviously see that the radius is way higher. There will soon be 2 shadow maps on medium or high settings, and 3 on the ultra. This compares to 1 and 2 respectively with the old algorithm. That's cool, Arenanet, but what are you anticipating for performance? Because I already am leery about ultra shadows. I mean, did we consider my PC to be out of date now, guys? We crowdfunded this. This community, this YouTube channel, we crowdfunded this before EOD. During the Dragon Festival at EOD. I was thinking of doing another upgrade next gen. So the 6000 series cards and whatever's going on with CPUs at that point. Probably an X3D. Will I actually get a lot out of it? Because I don't know. Like, people... is anyone in chat on a really good current system? Like, I don't know whether... What I'm saying is I don't think I have much headroom. And I'm on what I would consider a very new PC. I'm like a gen and a half out, maybe 2 gens. But even still, right, and every new gen, when it comes to Guild Wars 2, again, because it is dated, because it doesn't multi-thread that well, because it's not even very GPU bound, it's not a difficult game to render. Your GPU doesn't need to do that much. And it never has. Like I don't... If we got another upgrade, I don't know whether I would really have that much extra headroom. I believe X3D is good for Guild Wars and a lot of CPU-heavy games that don't do well. Like I was talking about Stellaris and stuff, people recommend it there too. So I think X3D will do a lot and probably help the shadows a lot as well. But like, my 3080 is not struggling with Guild Wars 2. I am not limited by the 3080 whatsoever. Here we go. Yeah, there you go. This is good, guys. Yeah, go on. Everyone with loads of money that spent it on modern stuff. Let's hear how you're doing in Guild Wars. You have a Ryzen 3900X, a 4090, 128 gigs of RAM. You get 120 FPS in the starting zones, but in EOD you only get 30 to 25. Yeah, that's the other thing, guys. Like, look, I don't want to go really into it here. But there is a very big... I mentioned this on my most recent video about this, and none of the details have changed, right? Some of the options are a little bit different. There's a very, very fucking big difference between being here in Cordicus's Manor, a smaller instance, right, using largely vanilla assets, with your back against the fucking wall at spawn, right? Like, you will get fat frames here. You'll get much, much, much bigger frames here than wandering around... And this is with ultra shadows here. Like, I believe on the same PC, the video I demonstrated this on before, I was at like 100 and like I was completely capped. It's very different being here to being in the modern stuff. Like we're going to be playing VOE, right? VOE comes out tomorrow. I don't know whether I want to do the Let's Play on Ultra. Because I don't know whether I want to be walking around at 60 FPS. The dream... sorry, at 30 FPS. The dream was... When we upgraded before EOD, the dream was to be able to do it But you just can't, man. You can't. And that's before we even talk about culling. I don't believe there's anyone out there, anyone, that is true max in a world versus world Zerg with reasonable frames. Sorry, you're just not. Like, your PC's going to its knees. So, yeah, I like it, Arenanet. I like it. I want to see Guild Wars looking modern. I want to see it looking good, better. The initiative's brilliant. I don't know whether I'll use it. We will try it, obviously. We will try. Fingers crossed. So what's going on here? More sophisticated sampling. The shadow maps do not correlate evenly to each pixel on the screen. That means there's... and we'll see some examples in a second, guys. For those of you who are bored, there'll be the money shot in a second. This means there's sample aliasing we must address. So without extra processing, the edge of the shadow maps will appear jagged and unpleasant. To mitigate this, we sample shadow map pixels in the neighboring areas. We interpolate between them. This smooths out the jaggies and ensures the outlines of smaller details, such as fine lines, are much more pleasing to look at. We've improved the sampling technique by using a new technique known as Poisson disk sampling to get more out of each sample compared to before. When we sampled before we used a grid. Additionally, these samples are now weighted using Gaussian distribution to place more emphasis on points closer to the point of the shadow map that's being smoothed. I use Gaussian blurs for many of my thumbnails. This looks better than if half the samples were weighted evenly. I think you can actually put a Gaussian blur as a filter on OBS, can't you? Let me have a look here. Oh no, I might need an add-on. I don't see it there. I was going to show one off to you guys. Okay. So maybe that's good then too. So here's some of the results. Oh no, not just yet. One more. Some details are just too small to be visible in shadow maps, meaning they don't get shadows even with increased shadow map resolution. We now use a technique called screen space shadows. You can enable approximations of these on Reshade, by the way. Screen space shadows. The depth buffer of the current frame is used to execute a form of ray marching in screen space, which is kind of like ray tracing but more constrained. This allows us to capture fine details on things like grass, small architectural details, hero equipment to help them feel less flat. So how is this different to like ambient ambient occlusion? You know, where it like shades all the little gaps and things? And like where there's hard corners. Since we only have the depth buffer, there are limitations to the technique, and as a result, there are occasional inconsistencies. We've worked closely with the art team to fine-tune the parameters to balance quality against visual artifacts. Where, though? In VOE or across the entire game? We also provided an option in the graphics settings that allow the feature to be toggled on or off. Screen space shadows are available on high and ultra. By the way, if you're watching my Oblivion Let's Play, the screen space shadows were the ones that looked really good, but were buggy as fuck, looking over water and reflections. Remember, in the Oblivion remaster, like underneath our weapon as we moved around, the reflections got buggy? That was screen space shadows. I wonder whether Arenanet will have such issues. Take a look at some of the examples of this tech in action in the comparison screenshots below. You can enlarge the images with the button. Yeah, and they put a whole thing on their like front end for their website to show this. We hope these improvements enhance your experience. So I love all of this. I hope I get to use it. So this is before. This is Lion's Arch before. So note the familiar sort of indistinct blobby shadows around here. And here's the after screenshot. And here, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to disable the slideshow animation, the transition, so that we can see it as just a cut. Ah, you're going to make me go back through the whole thing? This way you'll see the difference a bit better. Swiping isn't good for the stream here. Okay, so here you go. So this is before, and this is after, okay? So you'll see it kind of feels like the shadows go away a bit. Some of the just blobby plastering of the screen. But they're all much more defined now on the after. And much further out. What I especially like, I don't really know how to... okay, Do you see those arches that on the very bottom left of the screen? Do you see those arches there? If you look at those, they come across much better on the before and after. So this is before. Keep your eye on those windows. And that's after. Can you see now the shadow at the very top of them? So those kinds of small details, they really do look nice. It's very good. Oh, we got the pre-steering music. Let's crank that shit up. Oh, yeah. Nostalgia overload right here. Yeah, let's get this for Guild Wars 1 as well, right? So here's Queensdale. And you can see a similar thing going on with the farmhouse. Shadows around all the watermelons. What you want to do is look at, again, at the very bottom left corner. Every single watermelon now and all the little blades of grass and stuff. All on that field. All the bits of grass. The trees as well. Here, I looked at this one with Kerry. Here's before and here's after. Really, really nice thing here is actually look at the mount, okay? Look at that guy's Springer, his cockatiel Springer. Look at its chest. We're on before right now with the feathers. And get ready on the after. You can really see a lot of depth coming under there now, under the plumage. You can really sort of feel how there's a lot more of a sort of sense of depth. It's very good. And of course the buildings back there. So undeniably, this is great, right? This really is very, very good. I'm happy to see it. The big elephant in the room for me, though, is I want TXAA for this fucking game. Or I want DLSS. Or DLLA. If I could DLA Guild Wars, like, it's the anti-aliasing, it's the jaggies on all of the foliage that really makes this game feel dated to me. But when I boot FF14, it doesn't feel dated at all. That's the numero uno thing I'd like to see from Guild Wars. But the shadow update's nice, you know, especially if it's essentially just some config changes. So here we actually get a Visions of Eternity thing. This is not a place I recognize. And this is the after, the shadow under the bridge, of course. It really all comes down to modern AA techniques for me now. Here's the Wizard's Tower. And I mean, look at it. The Wizards, this area in the lobby of the Wizard's Tower famously is an FPS nuke. Famously brutal to load in as well, as a side note, by the way. Like, yeah, that's a cool idea. And it looks great. I love seeing the railing of the shadow of the thing above, but man, is this playable? Here we've got the... Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, maybe I am wrong. Is this just the Temple of Cormyr? Is this inside the Temple of Cormyr? Oh my god, turn around, Arenanet. It looks so good on out the cliffs. You can see all the holes in the shadows from the floor. So anyway, this image didn't really impress me, by the way. This is before, and this is after. They actually put this on their showreel, but I'm not very impressed by this. I don't think the overall effect is... I don't think there's a wow factor to this. And I think when we're looking at this image, this is the after you're looking at right now, it still looks like an old, dated game. So, I don't know. I don't think that's really putting your best foot forwards. But there you have it. That's image 61. We went through a lot there, obviously, because it's all just pictures. You can downsample with NVIDIA. NVIDIA has, like, some attempts. Before Janthea Wilds came out, we really did a lot with it. There was a guy, like, there was a wizard with Reshade that was here in the community offering, you know, presets and stuff. There was only so far we could go. I feel Guild Wars has got a long way to go with that. So there you go. That's the Shadows update. So I have one more thing to show you all now, guys, before it's over. And another thing I was going to do on this stream, by the way, was a bit of a story recap. I guess we can do that at the start of the VOE playthrough. Just because it was so convoluted and so complex and so messy towards the end. I was thinking about maybe replaying the last instance. Nothing major, but just literally the last instance in the Foundry to just, you know, remember what the fuck's going on and what we think is going to happen with Menzies and all of that. The game is performing really well here right now. Really, it feels awesome. So I guess we'll shove that to another stream because we've been going for a while already. The last thing I want to show off is some videos. So there have been consistent teasers on Twitter. My understanding is most of them are basically crap and don't really mean much. But I think there's a full-blown like 2-minute one for us to watch. So we're just going to sit back and watch these. Here we go, Visions of Eternity, guys. These are the last little tidbits they've given us. And, well, we'll just see what we've got. So here's one of the little teasers. They've been doing these little lore posts. By the way, is that too loud? How's the audio balance for that? Should I turn it down? I probably should turn it down, right? So, yeah, they put, like, this text on screen. And this one says, as the Tyrian Alliance slowly expands, many of its chartering nations have encouraged an exchange of culture, craft, and combat expertise, revealing old traditions or cutting-edge discoveries to heroes far and wide. So that's just like a nice little advertising way in which they're trying to, you know, say, hey, new elite specs. So that was one of their teasers. And, you know, that let's not judge these too hard. The point is, you know, they're just to stir a bit of interest on Twitter. Okay? They're not reinventing the wheel. Or some of them. Next one. Oh, okay. So this was actually from their YouTube. I was told about this in Spud Discord just before going live, so thanks so much. They did a demonstration of the new legendaries, which, remember, there's a lot coming. Tomorrow, guys, you can work on these. So, and I've never watched this. I've never seen this. I had no idea this teaser came out. So this is the legendary spear Bellum, it's called. Wow. Oh my god, it's like the Cosmic Observatory. Oh, I don't know whether I like that. We already have Astralaria. But it's a different slot. So it's a spear, right? So we get another spear to choose from. That's a cool choice. Even though spears aren't a part of VOE, they're still a new and exciting and fun part of the game. I like it. Oh, I love the little bits coming off the top. I wonder if it's going to have multiple forms like Clobyan does. There's a hell of a trail on it. Oh, and you get a little thing off on the side. Oh, that. Oh, I see. Interesting. They're kind of a set. It's like a set of legendaries, the spear and the staff. Same vibe, same ideas. Kind of like what they did with Aurene. Which, remember, by the way, the community shat itself about. And here's the legendary Aqua Breather. Agalius. Agalius? What is that? Is that Latin for something, maybe? It's got like an impression of teeth on it. Is it different, light, medium, and heavy? Oh, it is. They have different names. Oh! You get a little school of fish swimming with you. 10 out... Wait, oh my god, and you get a shark fin. Oh, that's good. Wait, and has she got something on her wrist? I'm assuming that shark fin is a part of the Aqua Breather and not just a backpack. Dude, wait, hold on. Why did the first Aqua Breather have none of this cool shit? Oh, it did. I see it. There's a shark fin back there. I see. I don't see some little schooling guys with him. Oh, dude. Oh, you get fins all over. You get them on your greaves and your gauntlets. Oh, it's like I'm an avatar. That's so cool. Oh, do you know what? I bet they've had this concept for an underwater legendary Aqua Breather in their pocket for years. I bet they've had it a long time, and finally the day is here. Dude, I was probably going to get all this shit anyway, just because it's content and it's AP and it's something to work and grind for. That's why I got Clobyan. That's why I got Orax. I barely even am using Orax anymore, by the way. Even though I think it looks sick on my Necro. Who we could be playing. I'll look at the results of the poll in a second. Oh no, I didn't even put Ridge List on this, I know. But anyway, so I'll get these anyway, but they look good, don't they? I'm a little disappointed that the spear and the staff are effectively... Am I disappointed? No, I don't think I care that much. Like I said, at EOD, everyone shat themselves about the Aurene ones being a set. But it was one of those things where I really thought, you know, that it wasn't something that Arenanet had really done wrong. Just chill out and it will blow over. And that's exactly what happened. All right, next teaser. Okay, this is the full-blown trailer. This is the final trailer. I say trailer, but I think it is only on Twitter. It's like a run through the new map. It's 2 minutes long. It'll probably last 40 seconds and nothing. I used to get so giddy looking at stuff like this, but in a weird way, for me, it's also just kind of like, well, I'll be playing it soon. I think I've become a bit more patient as I've grown up a bit. Like, we'll be here. I mean, it's easy for me to say that when the damn thing's releasing tomorrow. Oh, that place looks good. Dude, this was demoing the new shadow stuff. It has to be. Look at those shadows back there on the back left. Oh, there's a certain tranquil, like, calmness to this. Oh my god, that's actually pretty good looking there. Kind of like what I'd want from South Sun. Oh, I love all the big energy things in the trees. There's some. I think they've done really well to bring the concept art to life and actually make a fantastical environment here. I'm still very bored by Guild Wars 2 Cliffs and Guild Wars 2 Grass. It all feels so familiar and like not new. Like, look at this, right? All these cliffs, all that like painted grass, all of it feels like 100 places I've been to in Guild Wars 2 before already. Like that there, that may as well be... Do you remember the hidden holographic entrance to the Inquest place in the Sandswept Isles patch? Right? You know, it was a brilliant part of the patch. I'm not judging this part of the patch. But I think you go back to the Desert Highlands and it turns out there was an entrance like here or something. Do you remember? And then you end up going on the crazy adventure and teleporting down to here and oh, it's all crazy and you go up the elevator and then there's the whole city. Man, Season 4 was popping off. This image here may as well be that. Oh, no, not that. Oh, yes, that. Sorry. I paused it and it all went away. It may as well be that again. Anyway, so I'd love to see a new expansion work on that. I want to see them changing the rock formations. I want to see them change the way they paint the ground. I want to see different foliage. Something that will just really be more striking about feeling like we're in a new biome. Because I think it's held all the expansions back. All of them except Heart of Thorns. POF as well, actually. POF escaped that largely because it had a lot of the nice new sand duney areas, you know. Or quicksand, and the water felt different, and you know, because it had like that turquoise to it. But many of the recent expansions haven't managed to escape. I think Echo-Vowed Wilds was the worst one for me for that, because Echo-Vowed Wilds felt like Heart of Thorns but in grey, and it was a. But I mean, like this is excellent. There's a fly-through of the second map too. Oh, is there? I don't think... I've got a couple of other videos. I don't think I grabbed that one. So we might not be able to watch that. This is map 1. I'm surprised they've done a fly-through of map 2. One of my favourite moments of playing Janthir Wilds was getting to Janthir Sintry and just being totally shocked and surprised and not knowing what it was like. It was awesome. I would want to preserve that. The Inquest base is looking epic. By the way, as a long-time Command & Conquer fan and... proud player of the Nod campaigns, I love red when it comes to the Inquest. Look at that. That's the best Nod base I've ever seen. Look at that. So good. Those pipes look cool. Actually, that looks really awesome. Like that plant is thriving because of the runoff. Oh, it is nice, guys. Isn't it nice to have some new shit to do every year with Guild Wars? No more big gaps. Look at the stars. Look at the sky. Seems like we're in another weird... Do you remember in Amnitas they talked about how it was like on the edge of reality or whatever? That's what that makes me think of. There you go. So that's it. The trailer was actually about 1 minute 40 seconds.
Castor is a beautiful place, no denying it. And real. Dangerous. Things weren't easy before, but now we got these Inquest folk upsetting the balance. But if you can put a stop to them and help us survive, you'll always have a home here.
Yeah, so there's the new homestead. I don't think this is the first shot we've seen of this for a long time. In fact, I think we had one even day one, didn't we, really? But hell yes, I want to live on a beach. Hell yes, I will make this my homestead. I'll tell you what, guys. It is the final day of Janthir Wilds. It is the final day. And I haven't done any homestead decorating. I have put balloons there. I've gone there a lot for like gathering stuff. I've done my gathering like very regularly, and that feature's been brilliant. But decorating is not something that's captured me. I don't know whether that's the fault of the game or just where I've been in life and stuff. The one bit of decorating I've done probably in the past 7 months was to put a Halloween bell up for that little Halloween feature, which is quite cool. So there you go. Yeah, as for the dialogue and the story and all that, who the hell knows? Why do massive long speculations about it? The story doesn't even make sense as far as I'm concerned right now, so we'll see. I hope VOE can patch up and clean up and help improve whatever the hell Janthia Wilds was doing. I really do. And I'm looking forward to having Ritlock back. And I think the subject material could be good. So we'll see. Yeah, I did. I missed the Cat Cafe stuff. I did. Remember, we started that stream and it had ended. But I thought we were in the last hour, but we weren't, and it had ended. Okay, so check it out. So another one of these little teasers. By the way, I think this is gorgeous. This reminds me of like the character select concept arts, or the concept arts we had back when this was an epic fantasy franchise, you know, with the original trailers, the character select screen, if you like, even. Like, these are cool. I love that plant in the front. I love the god rays, the subtle animations on it all. I assume it's Richie doing these, and they're awesome. I think he did a really good job. The elder races of Tyria were once the most powerful people in the known world, aside from the elder dragons. Well, the elder dragons aren't people. They went to great lengths to protect their power from the elder dragons. I was very interested in this, that they put this post up with this specific text about the elder dragons and about the previous rising. That tells me VOE has some connection to that stuff, which is a triple thumbs up from me. I'm giving you a thumbs up with my left hand, a thumbs up with my right hand, and a thumbs up with my third thumb. I'll let you imagine what part of my anatomy that is. It's my tongue. I've got my tongue out. Yeah, I think that's brilliant. And it makes sense, right? One of the biggest things we saw the Inquest were fucking with was at the Crucible of Eternity, the Thormano reactor stuff too, right? Like, they were messing with Elder Dragon stuff. They had mistaken, you know, the deep sea monster for the deep sea dragon minion, all that kind of stuff. And Kudu's story and all that. And by the way, I think one of these teasers suggests Kuda is going to be in this, which is very good. His daughter, speaking of Sand Spectals. So, yeah, I was really heartened to see this. Who knows? I'll be very honest, the more the story is talking about this subject material, the more I'll be into it. The toe, the bro is a scaly. Alright, here you go. This is a little gem store link. Just remember, guys, hit my affiliate link in the description before making gem purchases. Look at that. It's a cape. And it's big. And we're in the new map. Oh, and look, you can dye them. I glide so rarely in game now, to be honest. It's just always on a Warclaw, or failing that a Sky Scale, failing that a Griffin. And now here's this guy. These are the Calligrapher's weapons. Basically, these were I will get from wardrobe unlockers, if possible. But that'll be the update tomorrow as well. It's a shame they haven't done anything for the Wizard's Vault, right? You would think that they would do a Wizard's Vault showcase before release. Hey, here's the new set that's coming. You know, like the Onyx spider weapons or the whatever. Because there's going to be a set. So this is the fly-through of map 2, right? So I do have them both. That's an awesome little bird there. I don't actually think that's new. I think you get parrots like that. Oh, look at that. Hey, and the mower walking through the foliage back there. 10 out of 10. That's actually really cool, because that actually kind of does feel very modern, but because it's a classic Guild Wars 2 MOA, it's got that cool warm nostalgia, and it's right in that sweet spot. I'll tell you something else that's in that sweet spot. For any Halo fans out there, they revealed proper trailers and footage of the new Halo remake, and I know it's dire. People can't make games. They're just constantly going back to the old ones, blah, blah. But the new Halo remake actually does look beautiful. And like, if you listen to the dev comments about the ways they've expanded and changed the game, it looks like it's way less cash grabby than Halo Anniversary was. And I bought Halo Anniversary and was happy with Halo Anniversary. The new one looks awesome. It's coming with 3 new missions. It's not just a remake, a remaster, sorry. They're doing new missions with it and everything. They're changing the guns. They're changing loads of shit. The map layouts. It looks good. I was a sucker for the Oblivion remaster. I'm a sucker for that one. Anyway, seeing that mower crawl around there just reminded me of how it felt to watch a warthog in that trailer. And it's coming to PlayStation as well, which is crazy. Look at that archway. They're like the Orion archways. Were Orions here once? Are we going to learn about those other Kodan, the Orion ones? Look at that. That is incredible, by the way. Sorry, but they've done a very, very good job there. It feels a bit Dragonfall-y to me. You know, like Melanju's area in Dragonfall? It feels a bit reminiscent to that. But, you know, this is not a bad thing. That is a real canopy. They're actually nailing a big, dense forest vibe there better than they did with Echovald, I think, in some ways. And there's so much movement, so many particle effects and moats and things moving around. Really good. New animals. Which, as I've said before, one of the best things about POF was all the sand sharks and the choya and the hydra, and, you know, like, you get that fauna in there, it really makes the place pop. Speaking of choya, look at these pineapple choya! I haven't seen this before. That's amazing! Very good. Oh, well done. Well done. See, maybe it would have been nicer to see that on Wednesday. Oh, that's good. Very good. That looks like me back there, well, next to the fire. That looks like Liz, doesn't it? So many waterfalls. Echovald was so... look, I want to be clear about Echovald. Echovald was fucking awesome when it came to the cathedrals, the stained glass windows. All those little cubby holes and rooms you go in to get the POIs, the mastery points, the fishing spots. Echovald was generally... like, its overall vibe was a disappointment to me and not accurate to Guild Wars 1 and what I'd always dreamt of. But they nailed it. When it came to specific areas, some of the most gorgeous shit you will ever see in Guild Wars 2 were there. Like earlier in the stream where I was like, oh, what's a good comparison? I went to the Temple Cormier. You know, go to Echovald Wilds and go to any of those places with the stained glass windows. I mean, they cannot be you know, spoken down about. The team did so good with those. There you go, that's it. Rocco in chat says, this makes me can't wait not to play this and prog Greer tomorrow. Yeah, I didn't actually, I didn't try to hide this shit, but I forgot to mention, guys, I am not streaming tomorrow. I'm doing a patch video. I am playing tomorrow, but I'm progging Greer. Our static is just doing Greer tomorrow, even though it's the expansion. And by the way, we're scheduled for starting at 7 p.m. my time, when the expansion drops, I believe, at 5. So literally 2 hours after the expansion, instead of playing it, we're doing that. That's the mindset of some of these people that are burned out from Guild Wars 2, don't really care about the story anymore, they just want to play the raids. So yeah, we're just... I mean, I've got no problem with it, because I've always known I'm not streaming day one. So I'll play Greer. Yeah. It's bizarre though, isn't it? It is a bit crazy. Here you go. Look, Traherne. No, that's not Traherne. That's Kanak from the weird art style. They did one Heart of Thorns trailer. There was a lot of different kinds of press going on for Heart of Thorns. They contracted a lot of different studios to do different things. And one of them resulted in a trailer with Traherne looking very weird in it, very edgy, and they never wrote the story to justify it in the end. But it says, Canuck has earned quite a lot of capital and has grown a bit restless in his success. He's been hanging around Lion's Arch with his former partner, Saida, looking to spend some major coin. Okay, so does this kick off with Canuck? Dude, Ritlock being back and Canuck being back, in theory, should be big sales for me. But I hate what they've done with both of those characters. I don't like the Runtlock story and the thing about how... Let's not get into it. And Canuck has no edge either. It's extra hard to connect with Canuck since his voice changed too. So I don't know. Will Visions of Eternity put me back in their corners? I guess we'll see. I don't think Canuck's a major part of the X-Pack, right? He would have appeared in more trailers if he was. And there you go. That's it. I did a good job there, didn't I? We did every single video. I don't think I missed anything. All right. Canuck secret main villain. That would be epic. Mish King. I would be all about that. I would love that. Debase one of your characters. Corrupt one of your characters. Turn one of your characters in an earnest way. Anyway, there you go. That's VOE, guys. Coming tomorrow. I've made a couple of jokes about the affiliate link today, but in all sincerity, in all earnestness, thank you for watching my coverage of it as it's been getting ready to come out. Please do feel free to join me for the big Let's Play. I'll be very regularly streaming. They will be daily episodes, not starting on launch day. Keep an eye on the channel. Come over to Discord. I have a notifications channel in Discord that you can follow, and it will ping you and let you know when I go live. And yeah, that's it really. If you are going to buy it, whether that's today or after you've seen it and some reviews have come in, which is probably the smart thing to do, just at any point, just please do remember, if you hit the link in the description first, it genuinely, meaningfully helps me out. And thanks to Arenanet for that sponsorship. So that's it, guys. Tomorrow. I hope you all have fun. I'll see you on the patch notes video. And before I sign off, what am I playing? There's a poll. Coming in at the bottom of the poll is the Conduits. Oh, Revenant has lost. Oh. Only 19%. But look, hundreds of people have voted in that poll. So look, to the sizable number of you that are in that 19%, I feel you, bros. You tried. When these new animations come out and they were wicked sick and I'm not playing them, I feel for you. Coming in at second to last, and it's very close, is the Troubadour. Oh, you guys, come on. It's a quickness build now. We press some buttons. We get some instruments. We mount up and we're still playing the instruments. It's nice and brain dead and free and easy to just spam buttons. Nice high radius on everything. QOL, bit of range. Oh, the Troubadour. To everybody who will be playing the Troubadour, I hope you have fun. I reckon you will. Very closely after that is the Paragon. So Paragon came in second with 26% vote share. No Guild Wars oneers out there. There was no confirmation from Arenanet that there are more wings, I guess. You know, they said on the post it would do more damage now. We have the echoes. You got some cool UI. I was genuinely alright with the Paragon. Ah. And we have a big, burly, cool-looking Norn we would have been playing. All that eye candy, guys, gone down the drain. And the winner was Evoker. Which I'm going to be very blunt here at the start. Evoker was the one on the list that I was a bit like, yeah. Do I really want to? Guys, my play experience of Evoker was not that great in the beta. It just wasn't. But they've said, you know, stuff's been moved baseline. The traits have been shuffled around. We will have a diverse experience here because we can play an Otter Evoker for a while. We can play a Toad Evoker. I still like the idea of a Toad Evoker in competitive, by the way. It sounds toxic in all the most fun ways. But there are like four very clear different build paths for us on the Evoker, which hopefully will be fun. So I think you guys have made a good pick, you know, and it means you'll see me on lists. I haven't done an Ellie LP for fucking ages. You haven't really seen me on it. But I mean, you see me on Ellie in streams like this. Like I just played Catalyst in those quick play fractals. But that is what you've all decided, and by a fairly wide margin too. That was 31% of you. Nearly a third of you want to see Evoker. So yeah, let's hope that Arenanet have pumped up those utility skills a bit. And yeah, there should be some fun little buildcraft moments in there. And, you know, maybe each act, there'll probably be like 4 acts, right? Each act we can be a different flavour of Evoker. We can have a little Firefox first, and we can do a different thing and different thing. And hopefully we can really see it shine and as a separate thing to Catalyst. Oh, and that's true as well. Rocket did just point out, it's cool we're playing Asura in the Inquest X-Pack. Maybe you guys voting on that actually were thinking along those lines, and that's a good point. What? I'm trying to put the acting in the voice acting. Oh, what? With the mock sadness about the people who lost. Yeah. I mean, who cares? So there you go, guys. You wanted to see lists more than anything else, Silver? Well, you'll get it. Yeah, I never even raided with you on lists, did I, Silver? Never. I was often on my rev, as far as I remember. You hope the Evoker is quick or a lack? Not Q DPS or heal a lack? Well, for me, playing the story, I'm going to be quickness for sure. I mean, absolutely. No justice for Gux. I know. And Gux, maybe I should have put Ritualist on the running, because Gux, look, we'll just end this real quick here. This is the last thing you will see from me in Janthir Wilds. Gux with his wicked sick. I was trying oh no, oh yeah, I've been playing a bit of Scourge. I was trying a Harbinger setup though. Is it on this? By the way, guys, you know the Raid Strike Merge update? Do you think that they're gonna change this place and add a bunch of new doors? Because I thought look, see, you see the desync here with Blishard. Because is there enough space for all the strike missions? I really think one of the issues with strike missions right now is it's a pain in the arse to be at the Aerodrome for some stuff, Arbor for some stuff, the Wizard's Tower for some stuff, and Eye of the North for some stuff. You know, and as time goes past, some of them feel more and more buried, especially the Eye of the North. Having it all at the Aerodrome is perfect. So get a shit ton of doors in here, Arenanet, I say. And also kill that stupid pylon thing at the start of the strikes. I'd like to see that too. Anyway, that's all for Release 1, Visions of Eternity Patch 1, which is looking like a big one, right? Because what was the other thing we read today that they say they're doing then as well? That's not the Shadows patch. Shadows is immediately, isn't it? It was something else. Anyway, yeah, so that's it, guys. Yeah, the overlay's shitting itself. Thank you, guys. Well, let's not have too long of an outro. I hope you enjoy. See you on Wednesday. See you on Tuesday. If you feel I missed anything, drop a comment. I do read all the comments. I know I produced this video live. If anyone's watched the VOD, drop them down, say hi. Oh, by the way, can I just say, on the last part, I did that section about my mod. And I was a bit nervous about it because I didn't know whether people cared about like my coding or whatever. And you were all so nice. People were really supportive. And you guys were just fucking awesome about that. So thank you. That was cool. And really made me feel less guilty about spending as many hours as I have doing that when, you know, really should have been playing Oblivion. So thanks for everything, really, guys. So yeah, see you soon for VOE. Take care. And have a good evening.